Master Dishwasher.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. Let's start with some football, and Adelaide defender Dave McKay is going to have to wait until Thursday night before learning his fate for a bump on St Kilda's Hunter Clark. He's been referred directly to the tribunal. Still on football, Nathan Buckley has ended his 218-game coaching tenure with Collingwood on a high note, with the Magpies upsetting ladder leaders Melbourne at the SCG. The Maggies coming out on top by 17 points, and Buckley says the match had a big game feel to it.
The boys were amazing. It's a really solid four-quarter performance against a team that's been performing really well. So it's in the moment, it's awesome.
Ariane Titmus has swum the second fastest women's 200-metre freestyle ever at the Olympic trials in Adelaide last night. The 20-year-old clocked 1 minute 53.09 seconds, just 0.11 seconds off the world record set back in 2009. 400-metre gold medalist Mac Horton, though, failed to qualify for an individual event. The Perth Wildcats are through to another NBL Grand Final after taking care of the Illawarra Hawks by 8 points. That was in their deciding Game 3 of their series last night. They'll meet the winner of tonight's other semi-final decider between Melbourne United and the South East Melbourne Phoenix. And in some European soccer action, Slovakia has upset Poland 2-1. The Czech Republic got over Scotland 2-0, while Spain and Sweden are currently locked at 0-0 with about 20 minutes to play. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now the FIVEaa forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers increasing 18 today, showers tomorrow 14, Thursday showers and 15. Right now it's 14 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEaa.
Bob Jane T-Marts will look after you with their end of financial year monster deals. You're listening to FIVEaa Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6:06, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday on FIVEaa Breakfast. Hope you had a wonderful long weekend. Big news night overnight. We're off to the UK after 6:30. Lots to discuss. In the UK, the lockdown's been put off 4 weeks, as you've heard in FIVEaa News with Mel Usher. Plenty on the Australia-UK Free Trade Agreement as well. Vincent McAviney, best man on planet Earth for that conversation. He'll be on the show after 6:30. After 7 o'clock today, we'll get into some of the other big news revolving around Australia and the G7 and our attempts to control the conversation when it comes to China. We've got some audio to play that I think is particularly interesting after 7 o'clock. The disappearance and reappearance of Spider-Man will also be subject of our attention. And also, Phil Curry on the program. Bruce Jitte, who's transitioning from the A-League to another part of his life. He'll be very happy with how his former Chargers went on the weekend. And a lot more to come on the show. It's a busy Tuesday. Lots going on in the world. David Penberthy here to dissect it all. Morning to you, David.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. Hope everybody had a great long weekend. Pretty good weather, I thought.
Yeah, terrific.
The rain held off, although it sounds like it's going to be here today, up to 10 mil, apparently, we're heading for. Full details later with Amelia Mulcahy. Bruce Jitte, it's going to be good talking to him. He's been made the chairman of the committee for Adelaide.
Yeah, be fascinating. He's a very impressive figure.
Yeah, he's a great bloke. I had a
He's
good chat to him at a Carols by Candlelight. A few years ago, I was standing around thinking, oh, yeah, carols by candlelight, here I am. But, you know when you're at an event and you find something, bump into someone who's good company, you have a good chat to them. Because I wasn't jumping out of my skin about going to the carols.
Right. Not a big carol guy. As a singer, I figured you'd be a carol
Mate,
guy.
stop calling me a singer. I was in a punk band that had a following of about 30 people.
Yeah, you're in a band. And you do a...
Mate, it was like Flight of the Conchords.
You do a world-famous
big shout-out to Mel if she's listening. I'm sure she is. She might be downstairs in the car park. Hey, Dave.
That plus your Wuthering Heights rendition.
Fancy meeting you here. Fancy bumping into you here.
We'll be good talking to him after 7 o'clock, though. He's a particularly impressive figure. And as we say, Adelaide United did tremendously well on the weekend.
Here's a question. Have you ever got something that you don't really want?
Like a present?
No, I'm getting a new car today. Apparently they're great. Apparently they're great. I'm getting the new Toyota Cougar.
No, but this is not about the car. This is about what it represents, isn't it?
Well, I just need a car that I can fit all my family.
Exactly.
So I have to get rid of my Toyota Hilux.
Which you love more than... actually, in fact, more than a couple of the children, as I understand it.
Exactly.
Actually, no, you've
More
answered.
than half of my children.
For the doubters out there, you've answered that question because you've done away with the Hilux in favour of something to move the children around. So I think you should get credit points for that.
There you go. I'll put
Sound happier about it.
I'll put my family before my Hilux. Might as well get a vasectomy with this car.
It's a great question because I suspect not too many people.
I'm going to look like Clark Griswold driving around in a Toyota Kluger, and it's a hybrid as well.
What does that mean?
I think it means it doesn't make any noise when you turn it on because it's saving the environment.
Oh, okay.
What about the gentle rumble of the Hilux? I'm going to miss that, aren't I? And the fact that I can just treat the tray as a giant rubbish bin.
There's not too many purchases that I think people will have made that are bigger that they look forward to less than what you're talking about this morning.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's things...
There's no knock on the car.
No.
Apparently the Klugers are great.
Yeah. But, spending tens... Because you've chosen to do this. It was of your idea to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a vehicle that you now... $60,000
Well, it doesn't really change because the repayments are the same, roughly, for the Hilux.
Yep.
And so you just switch it over.
Yeah.
Once you're in with the financing, you're in.
The only people that are going to be outdo your story are those that have bought a house they never wanted, which I think would have to be a very small category of people.
I reckon there'd be people who bought a house and didn't like it.
After.
Yeah.
You've bought it. You haven't even hopped in this car yet. You already don't like it.
I know it's going to be embarrassing because the guys at the showroom are really excited about, come on down and pick it up. I'm like, yeah, great. There it is. All right, that's a car, I guess. I'm worried if it's going to be like one of those sort of heartbreaking scenes at the end of a rom-com, usually involving a train pulling slowly out of a station where the couple realise that, they have to say goodbye. I reckon that's what might happen at CMI Toyota today on West Terrace there.
Oh, what are you leaving the Hilux there?
Yeah,
Is it like an exchange?
Yeah, I've got to switch them over.
It's like a prisoner exchange program.
That's right.
Oh, that'll be heartbreaking.
I might just lock myself in the Hilux and say I've changed my mind.
Are you taking someone there to sort of provide emotional support? And David, it's all right.
We should get a comfort animal.
It's going to a good home.
Did you see recently they prescribed the list of animals that are allowed on the comfort animals register?
I didn't know. I wasn't familiar with this.
Yeah. They took a whole bunch of them off.
You're good.
Peacocks got taken off. Because there's an incident in America with a peacock.
On a plane?
Yeah. What was that great Samuel L. Jackson line about that? No, that was snakes.
It's about snakes. It's 11 after 6. We'll have news headlines in a moment. But if you have ever made a purchase that made you feel as sad as David's new car, do call us, because it might be sort of a group healing phenomenon. You can comfort him.
Mark from Glenside says, Dave, you should take the family on a vacation to Wally World, a.k.a. Parliament House.
8223 or text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line 0448 08 1395.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive of Western Hospital, Henley Beach. We're excited to announce our cardiovascular theatre is now open. This theatre is a direct result to provide outstanding care for the population of the western suburbs and beyond. Your safety is our priority, and we are able to offer a wide range of cardiac, diagnostic and interventional procedures. Western Hospital, your hospital that cares. Call 8159 1200 or visit westernhospital.com.au.
So, you've got a will. But, is your estate plan in place? What if you lose capacity to manage your financial affairs or to make medical or health decisions? What happens then? Who gets your superannuation? Who controls the family trust? From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers can answer your questions and help carry out your wishes. Wills and estate planning? Visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com.
It's the little things that make a big difference to your day, like a thank you email from a colleague or a smile from a stranger on the train. And it can all start here with a healthy, delicious breakfast made with the goodness of Aussie-made Pura milk. It's got 8 essential nutrients and vitamins to kickstart your morning and set you up for the day ahead. So start your day the positive way with Pura.
Hi there, I'm Matt, a Specsavers optometrist. Did you know that every Specsavers is locally owned and operated by an optometrist just like me? We believe eye tests should reveal more, not cost more, which is why we include an OCT advanced 3D eye scan with every eye test at no extra charge. Does your optometrist? Experience the Specsavers difference and book your eye test today. We're here to look after your eye health and keep you safe in store. Visit specsavers.com.au.
Great business starts when you're in control. With the Optus Business Connect plan, get up to 8 SIMs and up to 300 gig of data, all on one simple plan. Great business starts with yes. Explore the Optus Business Connect plan in-store or online today. T's and C's apply.
G'day, Rocco Lambrusco here in the City Traffic Chopper. Tonight I'll be eating an avocado smash westbound on Victoria Road. That's it from me in the chopper, back to you. Order with Uber Eats tonight.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Ever since our voyage of love began.
14 after 6. Time for news headlines on this Tuesday morning. Big story out of the UK developing overnight. The COVID lockdown there has been pushed back by another month due to a spike in the Delta variant cases. They were calling this Freedom Day in the UK. There were countdowns and everything. I can only imagine how devastating it is for the psyche to think that Freedom Day has been pushed back 4 weeks.
Just dangled in front of you.
That's right. They've been shut down since March. So they've been shut down since March. The idea was June 21, big day of celebration. Parties planned, everything reopens, the world starts again. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said the extension could be revoked, however, if the situation changes.
We will monitor the position every day, and if, after 2 weeks, we have concluded that the risk has diminished, then we reserve the possibility of proceeding to step 4 and a full opening sooner.
NATO leaders have declared China a constant security challenge and believe the country is working to undermine global order. The leaders of the 30-member alliance also discussed threats posed by Russia. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg says tensions are worsening with President Vladimir Putin.
Our relationship with Russia is at its lowest point since the Cold War. And Moscow's aggressive actions are a threat to our security.
We're going to play some more audio from the G7 after 7 o'clock this morning, specifically about Australia and what some of the other leaders have said about China. We spoke last week, I think it was, about are we overstepping our reach when it comes to the language that's now being used about China?
It doesn't look like it now, does it?
No, it doesn't. Feels like the rest of the world's come along with us, or maybe we don't give ourselves enough credit. Maybe we're a little bit more influential than we think.
Yeah, well, I think the perception we have of ourselves as a country is probably 50 years out of date. I think we think we're smaller than we are.
Yeah,
like in terms of population, we are bigger than heaps of countries. We're not this tiny little speck on the bottom of the Pacific. Like we are. You could say a middle power. I reckon Australia's comparable to like Sweden.
Oh, I think we might even be
probably bigger.
If you think about economic influence. If you talk about economic influence, where do we sit? 13th. We're roughly the same as Russia in terms of the economic output and influence on the world. Now, we don't have the same because of population and their legacy and how much they spend on their military is very different. But if you just talk in terms of economy, we're not much different.
Yeah, that's true.
13th biggest economy in the world.
Yeah. But no, it feels... The heartening thing about what's been happening with the other world leaders stepping up to the plate is that we've felt a little bit isolated and on our own for the last couple of months, particularly in South Australia, I think. These sods smashing our lobster farmers and the wine industry, trying to destroy barley. But when you see everyone else in countries of that calibre stand up, you think, well, okay, China, who are your mates now? You've got a ragtag of arse-busted nations in Africa and a few joints in the South Pacific that you've basically bribed with your Belt and Road money.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. 18 after 6, a Tamil family seeking asylum could be released from detention with a decision on their immediate future expected as early as today. A decision on their long-term future still likely to be played out through the courts. Immigration Minister Alex Hawke has been considering whether the government should intervene in a long-running court dispute with pressure from health groups, the opposition, and some within the coalition to let them stay. It's likely the family will be granted a special visa, which would allow them to return to central Queensland. A decision on their longer-term future, as we say, is still to come. Sweden 39th in terms of economy, population of 10.3 million.
Missed it by this much. Still, they did invent ABBA.
Yeah,
and
then
IKEA,
we claimed.
Did they invent IKEA?
Yeah, I think they claimed IKEA. Yeah, both things that turned out to be very popular here.
Yeah, I reckon you could say both things slightly annoying too. A little bit of ABBA goes a long way, and Allen keys suck.
Australia and the UK are expected to sign an in-principle agreement towards a free trade deal as early as today. As I left this morning, Scott Morrison had just gone for dinner. Was having dinner at Boris Johnson's place in Downing Street.
Hey, Scott. Hello, Scott. Good to see you.
That's a bit of audio we got live, actually.
This QAnon chap they were talking about last night sounded like total garbage. That Louise Milligan, she's mad as a March hare. Clearly got an axe to grind anyway. Have a sherry.
Leaders have been working through concerns about farm workers and agricultural imports, and a lot of what David just said. Australia's burgeoning tea industry is hoping to use a trade deal to propel itself into one of the world's biggest markets. Really exciting if you're in the tea business in Australia at the moment. The idea you might be able to have unfettered trade to the UK. 2 rare Australian coins have sold for a world record price of more than $1 million each at auction in Monaco. One of them was a £5 coin that they only made 6 of.
Oh,
so...
Wow.
Good luck if you had that. They were minted in Sydney and Melbourne. Let's talk about the weather today, because the weather today is a story in and of itself. Top of 18, but up to 10 mils of rain. 5 to 10 mils of rain from mid-morning, increasing to a very high chance of showers in the late afternoon and evening. You suspect they will carry over because tomorrow, a top of just 14. That's as cool as I can remember a top in a while. Up to 6 mils of rain. Thursday, again, up to 10 mils of rain. Top of 15. It'll ease a little on Friday, but still just 15 through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday, 17. It is going to be as wet a week as I think we've just about had this year.
Yeah.
3 days of serious rain is rare. Now, we had a question come through on the 5AA Facebook live stream from Neil, who wants to know what happened to your golf game on the weekend. How did it go?
Well, I lost 4 balls on one hole.
You lost them because they fell out of your bag and you couldn't find them?
They kept going into the dam.
Okay.
On the 4th hole. Anyone who's played the Wonga golf course will know the 4th hole was invented by a person who just hates other humans. It's embarrassing. I got 112.
Oh, you were trying to break 100, weren't you?
Yeah, well, 112. Missed it by this much. See, the thing is, even 100 is not a very good score.
I will cast no judgment.
I'm a really bad golfer. Like, I can't stress enough how bad I am. So... See, I reckon having never played, Will, you're a chance of getting 112.
I doubt it very much. So you've seen my temperament.
3 really, really bad holes.
You know my temperament. I'd be on 98 at the last hole, and I'd end up on 120.
Well, you did. There was a bit of mental disintegration that day in the Barossa.
It's 21 after 6. We're going to talk all things sport because it's been a big sporting long weekend too. Tom Wren will join us in a moment.
You might think having thousands of pals is excessive. But that's not what the team at Parafield Airport Liquor Store think, because that's how many they have. Sure, they might be made up of over 100 gins, over 200 whiskies, over 300 craft beers, and over 2,000 boutique wines. But they're some of the best pals you could have, and they're always looking for more, even if they are tricky to track down. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. At Lynn Andrews Real Estate, we've seen a lot of change in the property market over the last 50 years, but one thing remains constant: our passion to help people invest in the future, to build strong property portfolios in commercial and residential real estate. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share with you. We are here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Price Home Pharmacy's 3-day sale is on now with half-price makeup and half-price big brand skincare and hair care, plus double Sister Club points. Sale ends Thursday. Terms and conditions apply.
Elevate the everyday in the elegant Renault Koleos SUV. Available from just $32,990 drive away. Contact your local dealer today. Renault Koleos. Life less ordinary.
Yes, Lawless are still the termite people, celebrating over 78 years in pest control. For termite or other pest problems, call Lawless on 8443 9636 or online at lawlerpestcontrol.com.au for really good information on all pests. Call Lawless, the people you can trust, on 8443 9636 for a free survey and quote. That's 8443 9636.
Lawless, the termite people. Polaris tax time deals are on now. Unbeatable finance offers on Ranger, General and Razor models with 4.99% finance for approved ABN holders. Up to $2,000 free accessory bonuses across a range of units. Take advantage of the $1,000 ATV trade-in bonuses available on selected side-by-side models. Avoid disappointment and lock in a tax time deal now. Australia's #1 selling off-road vehicle brand is in high demand, so don't delay. See your local Polaris dealer today. Polaris, think outside.
Slow right down and set your watch to river time this winter. It's time to book your next escape to the Riverland. How about Berry? At SA Weekend Escapes, discover just how relaxing winter by the Murray can be. Find the best things to see and do and uncover our latest hotel offers in the town of Berry. Plus, book your getaway with one of 10 SA hotels this winter and you'll receive a complimentary bottle of Penfolds Red to warm up your trip. Visit saweekendescapes.com.au to find out more. Holiday here this year.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Bob Jane T-Marts will look after you with their end of financial year monster deals. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
25 after 6. I like this. Peter and Moonta on the Telstra Stillmount Barker text line saying David's turned into a soccer mum.
That is the harshest sledge.
Peter and Moonta both, thank you. I will be storing that and reusing it at a later date.
Going to get some Lorna Jane sweatpants.
In addition to the ones you've already got. Let's
It's raining sledges here.
Let's talk sport with Tom Wren, who's in the studio. So up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. What a weekend. So much sport. We'll start with, we usually do the positives and then the negatives, but there are only a couple of negatives as far as I could see, and then we'll get into the positives. Negative first, this whole handling of the Dave McKay bump, if you want to call it that, and just the assassination that he's copping from a lot of media commentators.
Noted hard man David McKay, seriously.
Yeah, and
they clearly don't know anything about the bloke.
Yeah.
He's the cleanest player.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is, he won the football. I was talking to Warren Treadray, and I'm sure he'll be strong on this when he comes on with Rowie today. A lot of people are saying it's not going to change the fabric of the game if you suspend him. Well, he disagrees completely, and I'm with him.
We don't want to dwell on this because I know we've got other things out of the weekend again. I just want to read you one excerpt of the AFL statement. I'm going to talk more about this with Rowie later. This is how that reads. This is as reported this morning. As such, the AFL argue that, regardless of whether McKay was 1, contesting the ball, 2, bumping Clark, or 3, both, he still contravened the general prohibition on unreasonable contact, including in contesting the ball. That's the league statement. Let's just remember item 1, this is written legalese, so item 1, irrespective of whether he was contesting the ball. They saying now it doesn't matter whether you're trying to get the ball.
I know.
If you try to get the ball too hard and someone gets hurt, you can get done.
Which goes against everything the game's been for 120 years.
Well,
anyway.
I was talking to a mate of mine. The new thing they're doing in primary school football is you're only allowed to kick a goal when you're wearing the right coloured wristband. So let's just sort of
what?
Yeah, so that the gun players don't kick all the goals. So for one
You're
quarter,
joking.
6 of the kids are like the blue wristband.
They have them in
so
zones.
they're allowed to kick the goals, and the other kids aren't.
Oh my God!
So let's just talk to the primary school
Enjoy
football
the
people and
let's
take
enjoy
them to
the
AFL and see if they can share some of the ideas. Maybe we'll ban tackling until they're 21.
Enjoy the Tokyo Olympics, because if that's the way we're going as a sporting nation, but the last time we bloody win anything. Continue, Tom Wren.
Totally.
The other negative, and it was maybe a positive because it was so fortuitous the way it worked out, but Eriksson, who's the best player for Denmark over the weekend, that was some of the most confronting footage I've ever seen.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. My son sent me the link, and I said, mate, I don't even know why I look at that.
He just collapsed. The Danish players formed a link around him, one facing in, one facing out. The captain opened up his airways and basically started resuscitation, saved his life, and they've brought him back. He was heart stopped for 10 minutes. Just incredible
Heart stopped for
scenes.
10 minutes.
Yeah, and so
God.
It was confronting stuff, but thankfully, quick thinking from his skipper and quick thinking from the medical people who were there clearly straight away has saved his life.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It was amazing.
He was out for about 10 minutes, wasn't he?
Yeah, unbelievable. So, huge delay in the game. They played on remarkably the match. Not surprisingly, Denmark didn't win, but I put it as a negative because it was so confronting, but thank goodness, we had what we had. Let's get to what was really uplifting from the weekend. He's going to make a full recovery, it sounds like, as well, by the way. Uplifting from the weekend, I'll whiz through them. Adelaide Thunderbirds, brilliant, fantastic win on the weekend. That's now back-to-back. That needs to be the standard for them for the rest of the season. Love him or hate him, this man, Novak Djokovic, his 19th Grand Slam, he was sensational.
And Djokovic does it. He's the champion for the second time.
3 manches à 2. 6-7, 2-6, 6-3, 6-2, 6-4.
He's only the third man in history and the first in the Open era since, tennis became a truly global sport to have won each Grand Slam twice. He's only one behind Federer and Nadal. He'll smash them.
Yeah, he may be both the greatest and most unlikable player to have ever played.
Yeah. It's not a bad call. So well done, Novak.
So much for my theory about the Spanish people's innate understanding of clay on account of paella cookware.
Adelaide United, brilliant win. That's
sensational.
Such a gutsy performance to be down, but Tommy Juric was the star.
He's had it taken away by Kitto. Through the legs, Tommy Juric is around Aldred, who looks off the pace today. Big chance for a second here. Tommy Juric! Outstanding performance. The opening 20 minutes in Brisbane belongs to the Socceroo.
He's been in a drought, but he scored 2 goals with no Craig Goodwin there. Absolutely brilliant performance. First ever loss for Brisbane at home in a final, so well done to the Reds. They keep going. Finally, a couple of football moments. Josh Kennedy, unbelievable goal from the boundary. Andy Rusgar, I know, was doing cartwheels. Unbelievable win for them. They had no right to win that game, but they did. That was one of the games of the season. But the moment of the weekend, Will Goodings, was your incredible call of the match winner from Riley Thilthorpe.
Thilthorpe kicks it backwards over his head towards the square. He's kicked a goal. It's unbelievable. Yeah! The Crows hit the front. 62 seconds remaining. Riley Thilthorpe has pulled something out of the top drawer.
He's done a scissor kick soccer style over his head, 15 metres out for a goal. He's got his third. The Crows are in front by 5. I can't believe it, Bix.
It's amazing.
Amazing's an understatement. He was the first player that saw the ball over the line.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, it was incredible.
I'll read this out because Will's too modest. Bianca texted in, "Hey Will, the call on Saturday with you, Bix and Riley, was beyond entertaining and hilarious. From the very lows of the first quarter and then to the highs of the last quarter. The highlight for me was Rowie learning a new word like incredulous, and you, Will, screaming louder than everyone when that goal went through."
It was brilliant.
I pulled a muscle in the moment in my head. I'm serious. I
You felt you were having an aneurysm.
Yeah, I was about to say an aneurysm.
I did. I didn't talk for 10 minutes in the post game because I had a migraine. I think it was just from yelling like an idiot. I totally forgot I was working in that moment.
Nah, that's where sport takes you. That's when the best.
We had
runs
mates
come.
round, and I checked the score on my app because I was barbecuing some rump steak, and I forgot that the game had started. Quarter time, I looked at it and I went, "What?"
Oh.
Then at half time, I thought, we'll just leave this on in the background with the sound off. Halfway through the fourth quarter, I walked past and went, "What?" I said, "Okay, this is..." And she was going, "Yeah, I'm watching. They're going to do this." And
it was
freak show.
It was unbelievable. Thank you, Bianca. That's lovely of you to say. Good on you, Rennie.
Good on you, boys.
Save up to $500 on selected Asco cooking appliances. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers increasing 18 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra, your one-stop shop. Physio, Pilates, podiatry, massage, dietetics. For appointments, visit physioextra.com.
Another pre-budget announcement today from the Marshall government. More electronic bracelets are coming online in SA to monitor offenders. Minister for Correctional Services Vincent Tarzia says they play a vital role in the rehabilitation of offenders.
The sophisticated offender tracking program will be expanded, so 100 electronic monitoring bracelets will be funded in the state budget with $4 million for the crucial program.
The state budget will be handed down next Tuesday. A Tamil family seeking asylum in Australia may be released from detention as early as today. The couple and their 2 Queensland-born children have been on Christmas Island since 2019 after their visa expired. Their longer-term future is still likely to be played out through the courts. The Prime Minister is in talks with his British counterpart as they look to finalise a free trade deal between the countries. An in-principle free trade deal is expected to be signed by the end of the day. British concerns about Australian beef and lamb imports and questions about farm labour are the main stumbling blocks. Scott Morrison says the agreement can't be rushed.
Reinforcing our trade relationship is a great opportunity for this moment. Of course, we have to get the right deal. But it is important, I think, that we work as hard as we can to get that right deal.
There will be a delay in lifting the last of the coronavirus restrictions in England. Prime Minister Boris Johnson says removing all legal limits on social contact will be pushed back a month to July 19 amid concerns over the new Delta variant. The BBC's Laura Cudsberg reports.
The Prime Minister tried to signal very strongly that by the time we get to mid-July, that should, in his view, be it. He used the phrase a terminus date. I think that was also a strong message to those in his party who worry about extending the limits for another little while. But I think it was also clear, listening to the Prime Minister and the top medics, that they just didn't really feel that they had any choice here. They said that this decision would prevent thousands of deaths with the way that the Delta variant has been spreading.
Joe Biden is hoping to cooperate with Russia on a range of issues when he meets with Vladimir Putin midweek. Speaking in Brussels after the weekend's NATO summit, the US president says he's willing to work with his counterpart, but will respond if an agreement can't be reached.
We talked about Russia's aggressive acts that pose a threat to NATO and our collective security. I shared with our allies what I'll convey to President Putin, that I'm not looking for conflict with Russia, but that we will respond if Russia continues its harmful activities. And we will not fail to defend the transatlantic alliance or stand up for democratic values.
Meantime, President Biden is being accused of violating royal protocol during his meeting with the Queen. He didn't take off his sunglasses when he greeted the monarch at Windsor Castle on the weekend and then spoke publicly about what they discussed over tea. Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $500 on selected Asco cooking appliances. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Well, the sunnies are definitely off. Here's Tom Wren.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd never do that to you, Mel. Adelaide forward Riley Thilthorpe has been named the Round 13 nominee for the Rising Star Award. The 18-year-old booted 3 goals in the 6-point win over St Kilda. Melbourne, meantime, will have no AFL footy in the next round, while the Geelong Bulldogs clash pencilled in for Geelong will be played in front of an empty stadium. Gold Coast will still host Port Adelaide, while GWS will also play host to Carlton. But Tasmania will get the other 2 matches. North Melbourne faces Brisbane in Hobart before Hawthorn takes on Essendon in Launceston. Hawks president and former Premier Jeff Kennett says he was shocked at the move, especially because Victoria has barely recorded any new cases of COVID.
When you consider that we have probably 100,000 people running around the town every weekend, that we've got people in supermarkets, liquor shops, brothels, to think that we can't have anyone at the MCG or down in Geelong is just amazing.
It's full-time in European football action this morning, with Spain and Sweden just playing out a 0-0 draw. Earlier, Slovakia upset Poland 2-1, while the Czech Republic beat Scotland 2-0. To basketball, the Perth Wildcats are through to another NBL Grand Final after edging out the Illawarra Hawks by 8 points in Perth. Meantime, the Phoenix Suns have swept the Denver Nuggets 4-0 to move into the NBA's Western Conference Final, but the series between Milwaukee and Brooklyn could go the distance after the Bucks levelled things up at 2 games apiece. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now the FIVEaa forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
18 today with showers increasing. Showers tomorrow down to 14. Thursday showers 15. Right now it's 14 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEaa.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to FIVEaa Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22-7, a giant Spider-Man was stolen from the suburbs and returned, or found, should I say. Return suggests it was given back willingly. It was found by police and a couple of eagle-eyed neighbours. We'll talk about that shortly. SAPOL coming up in just a moment. Had a lovely trek over the weekend through something I hadn't done since being in high school, through Deep Creek.
Oh, it's great,
I hadn't
isn't
done
it?
a Deep Creek walk since I was in year 9, and we did it as an excursion.
How good are the Xanthorrheas?
I did. I looked at everything and I
The
thought,
grass trees with the big spikes.
right, okay, yes,
That is a Xanthorrhea.
there you go.
Yeah.
I literally was walking around going, Dave would actually be useful on this trip.
Finally, it's only taken 6 years. Found out a use for me. Plant identification.
I was walking through it. I thought, I don't know where any of this is, but it all looks nice.
Talking about being damned with fake praise.
I didn't mean
Well,
only.
so you like about him, you can at least identify some plants.
I didn't mean only. I just thought it was a specific set of skills required.
I take it as a compliment,
Yeah,
mate. Thank you.
It was like, you're the Liam Neeson of plants. You've got a special set of skills.
That's right.
All right, let's head to the UK, because it's been a massive last 24 hours of news. Everything from the UK-Australia Free Trade Agreement to the extension of lockdown. Vincent McAviney, our London correspondent, has the info for us. Vincent, good to speak to you, mate, and good morning.
Hi, good morning.
This must be tantalising and annoying, all rolled into one, Vincent, but I guess public safety comes first. And what's the rationale behind delaying the freedom?
Well, we've all known that this was coming. The government has been signposting it, not so subtly, since last week, that there would be this 4-week extension. And as Boris Johnson said, there is a real possibility of the virus outrunning the vaccines, leading to thousands more deaths, which could otherwise have been avoided. The Indian variant has managed to spread quite rapidly in certain parts of the country. It's said to be 60% more infectious than even the Kent variant, which is the dominant one previously here, which is more infectious than the original. And so there are just worries that it could put too much strain on the NHS. So it's giving the NHS a few more crucial weeks. But it seems clear from the Prime Minister that, this is it. After this, it's learning to live with the virus and managing it as best as possible. They just want to get, 1 more month, really, until the school holidays, and then they will open everything back up fully.
So what's actually not happening? Was it going to be like pretty much open slather, going to pubs, going to restaurants, all of that sort of stuff?
I mean, we've already got pubs and restaurants open, but there are limits. You have to book ahead. You can't stand at a bar. You have to be seated and have table service. This was effectively, the end of all restrictions, all social distancing, mask wearing, everything that the government was saying was mandatory. Venues can decide themselves. But basically what they have said now is you can have weddings that don't just have 30 people, but there have to be rules in place about distancing. Children's groups can go over on overnight stays of their scouts in groups of 30, but they do have to take some precautions. And the pilots for things like Euro 2020 games will continue. But effectively what you've got is the limits on the number of people who can mix indoors and outdoors still. Nightclubs are still closed. Theatres can't operate at capacity, so many of them can't reopen because in order to break even, they have to have a sellout crowd or close to that. And there are limits on the number of people attending sporting events. So there are still a fair few rules out there.
Mm. Now, Vincent, we actually were speaking in the ad break just a moment ago about the results in the Euros overnight. Good result for England, albeit it's been somewhat overshadowed by not a political controversy, not the right way of putting it, but the players' decision to take the knee.
Yeah, I mean, despite the sound of my voice, am not actually English, so I don't sort of pay too much attention. If it's Scotland or Ireland, I'll follow those games, I'm afraid, guys. But yeah, there is this controversy about the kneeling beforehand. It's something the players have been doing in support of the Black Lives Matter movement, and there had been in some recent games some booing, but over the weekend the booing was, it seemed, drowned out by people supporting it. And there are, arguments about this. The Prime Minister's being asked about it and things like that. And he says, the England team shouldn't be booed. So there are, it is the culture war, which is being spurred on, particularly with the launch of a new right-wing news channel here in the last 24 hours, GB News, which has been talking about the topic non-stop in its first 24 hours. But, many people just think you should support the team. Don't send the players out and cause disrespect if they want to do this, and they feel so passionate about it. Many of them are from ethnic minority backgrounds. Then don't try and upset them at the start of each game.
Something that we've had discussions about here with Indigenous players in the AFL.
Yep.
Great account as always, Vincent. We hope the next 4 weeks isn't too onerous. Good luck with it all. Cheers, mate.
Thanks.
Vincent McAvenny, our London correspondent, there is a chance there is an inbuilt revision. They can look at it in a couple of weeks and see if it truly needs to be extended. You know what the takeaway as an Australian listening to that report, though, is? They have an end date. Yeah. The UK, they had to push it back 4 weeks, but they've got an end date, the date at which they say all... Now,
well, they're up to about 60% of people fully vaccinated already.
That's right. But
we're on 2.1%, I think.
Now...
2.1, it's pathetic. It is pathetic.
We haven't had the onerous level of restriction they have, yes. But they've got a date where they say there'll be no restrictions. Not even on the idea of wearing a mask ever. QR codes, all that kind of stuff. It just seems remarkable that we can't have a date, or at least some goalposts.
I don't think there's the political will to have one in this country.
I think that's right.
And I think the last thing our Prime Minister wants is a date that's set before the next election. And it's not even a criticism of him, because the federal opposition are just as pathetic on this. It's like public policy in this country is being decided by nervous people, where political parties are going, okay, how do we least spook the people who don't really care about things like overseas travel and are still quite iffy about getting vaccinated? Like all the decisions are being made with a view to the 20% in the middle who might change their vote. Not the overwhelming majority of people who just go, let's try to get on with things as fast as we can. They're the people who've got the least clout, even though they're the majority.
Yeah, that's right.
Most people, I reckon, think we can't go on like this forever. But the people who think, well, maybe we kind of can, are wielding in order to influence right now.
Yeah, because they're the vote shifters.
Yeah,
they're the ones that could actually move. You're right. Is an interesting thing, we should mention this, we've never spoken about this on air, that the Prime Minister's office now is in the business of sending out daily vaccine dosage updates. They'll get one every day. Got one yesterday, so even on the public holiday, saying things like there have been now 5.867 million vaccines that have been administered, which means 60% of over 70s, 40% of over 50s protected, 1 in 4 of the eligible population over 16 protected, 24.25%. So they're putting out the numbers, but again, they don't stand up to comparison with other countries around.
No, and they don't contain how many people have been fully vaccinated.
No, that's right.
Which is 2%.
It's listed as doses, so it's just solitary doses.
Yeah.
All right, it's 15 minutes to 6. Let's check traffic for the first time this morning. Thanks to Dave Potter. Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles right now.
Good morning at Seaton. Urgent waterworks there. That's at Tremor Parade near Pioneer Street. Speeds down to 40 k's. Coromandel Valley got a burst water main there. That's on Main Road near the Walk. On the freeway, speeds reduced down to 60. That's both directions between the Tollgate and Measdays Bridge. Roadworks at Ovingham this morning slowing things down a bit. Torrens Road near Churchill Road down to 40 k's. And speed cameras this morning. Commercial Road, Seafood Meadows. Dyson Road, Christie's Beach. And Fairfield Road at Elizabeth Grove. Queensland's balmy winters are good to go. Book 5 nights on the Gold Coast from just $599 at myqueensland.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The Barossa Valley is gorgeous, which is why it makes sense to make the Vine change to retirement living in Barossa Village in Angaston, Tanunda and Nooriutpa. It's the retirement lifestyle you deserve, and your pets too. Yes, your pets are your family, so you should never have to choose between your lifestyle and your beloved animals. Make the Vine change at Barossa Village, under an hour from the city. Find out more at barossavillage.org.
No one wants to spend their weekend in emergency. So if you hurt yourself on a Saturday or Sunday, Dr. Greg Keane says come and see SportsMed instead.
The doctors at our weekend injury clinic can treat any sporting or orthopaedic injuries right away. You won't have to wait all afternoon.
And a standard consult costs less than a private hospital emergency department, right?
Much less.
World-class care without the wait. SportsMed.
Start living life again after your injury.
sportsmed.com.au.
Now, what does it take to win the AHA category of Best Country Dining 4 years in a row? I presented this award to them once. Well, I announced it. I didn't present it.
Yeah, right.
I'm not really a luminary in the hospitality space.
Don't sell yourself short.
But ask Seven Hill Hotel in the beautiful Clare Valley. It's publicans Kate and Paul. Well, they must know what they're doing. After buying the iconic Clare Valley pub almost 8 years ago, they've given their community the perfect place to meet, eat and have fun.
I had a beer there with Nick Ryan last December when we were staying in Clare overnight. And it's got the nicest feel, that pub. Like it's the thing I like about it is you feel like you're welcome as an outsider, but there's a huge army of locals drinking there.
Yep.
Like it feels like a real community pub. Excellent wine, great food. And look, the accolades followed soon after Kate and Paul bought it, with Seven Hill Hotel's first AHA award win in 2017, and then things got a bit Brisbane Lions. They won again in 2018, 2019 and 2020.
They're going to change the rules so they can't win again, I think.
I think so.
They're going to
That's
say,
what they'll do.
listen, we'll just take it as read that
silly.
they win. They win. They're the
exactly.
best, all right? Can we
Exactly.
compete among the rest of ourselves? Check out their unique underground dining room in the cellar as well. It's sensational. And choose from the finely crafted seasonal menu, which always showcases regional produce.
A lot of people have a fear of being locked inside things. I dream of being locked inside the Seven Hill Hotel cellar. If you want a great country pub experience where the road less travelled leads to many great things, the Seven Hill Hotel is your best bet. Main Road, Seven Hill.
Get more at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. Reckon you've run out of time to score a great end of financial year deal on a new Volkswagen? Nah. If you're quick, you can still check out the range of new Volkswagens available for delivery right now at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. And remember Mawson Lakes Volkswagen for servicing too, with next day servicing and free loan cars. Don't dilly-dally. Get a great deal on Volkswagen now. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Mum, I'm bored. Are we there yet?
Mate, we've only been in the car for 20 minutes. And look, here's West Beach Parks.
Did you pack the marshmallows?
You bet.
Don't spend your entire break driving. Enjoy a short winter break at West Beach Parks. Glamped camp or cabin in style. Affordable, relaxing fun for everyone. West Beach Parks. Come to life this winter.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Bob Jane T-Marts will look after you with their end of financial year monster deals. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
10 to 7, let's check in with Safe Bowl. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson joins us. Morning to you, Kylie.
Good morning.
Now, you've arrested a couple of people after a BMW was stolen from Royston Park.
That's right. Just before 11 last night, police were called to Croydon after the victim actually tracked his stolen BMW to William Street. The car had been stolen earlier in the day from Royston Park. So police arrived, they located the grey BMW and the wing mirrors on the car activated, so it sort of indicated that the keys were nearby. So police helicopter was airborne and tracked 2 people running from the area. One of the suspects was seen to throw something over a fence. So Western District Patrols located the suspects hiding in a front yard of a house, and they also located the keys just off the South Road. So 2 teenage boys, aged 17 and 16, from Ridleyton and St Mary's were charged with illegal use and unlawful possession. One of them was refused bail and will appear in court today, and the other was granted bail. So, yeah, those tracking apps are pretty good on cars.
Yeah, I'll say. Kylie, also, the hunt is still on for a bloke seen hooning through the northern and western suburbs.
That's right. A lot of vision was released through the news outlets last night of this person driving on the wrong side of the road in the northern and western suburbs. So police were actually called to Eddy Street at Enfield about 10:15 yesterday after the stolen car was reported being dumped. So police did search the area, but the suspect wasn't located. So we just ask anyone with any information or actually any dash cam, it's good to give it to the media, but it's even better to give it to us. So if you've got any, please contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
And Kylie, you managed to find a stolen Spider-Man.
I know. What are we, the character theft capital or something? Big Bird first and now Spider-Man.
It's a good point.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe we need like a special task force.
Yeah, the character task force.
Yeah, that'd be good. Keep an eye on Claude the Crow. And
yeah, that's who's going to be next, Shrek?
Yeah, that's right. Some pretty big thieves.
I keep him under surveillance just in case, Kylie.
Yeah. The Spider-Man doll had been stolen from a car in Monopara, so it was about 2:40 on Friday that the car was parked on street and road at Monopara, and the 4-foot-tall stuffed Spider-Man doll was stolen. So further investigation and witness reports led to police to a house in Monopara where the doll was recovered. It's been returned to its rightful owner, and they don't want to take any action. So
nice,
good result.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on you, Kylie. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Great work,
Senior
Kylie.
Constable Kylie Simpson from SAPOL. The weather is as big a story as any in Adelaide today. Brett Gage, Senior Forecaster at the Bureau. Good morning to you. When is the rain coming and how much are you expecting, Brett?
Yeah, well, I think we'll just see a slight chance developing around about mid-morning, but the real weather will start in the late afternoon, so we'll be increasing to a very high chance of showers in the late afternoon or early evening, when there will also be a chance of a thunderstorm. So in that period, from the late afternoon through to midnight, we're expecting about 5 to 10 millimetres. Currently in the city, temperatures 14, heading for a top of 18. And on the waters today, we've got north to northeasterlies at 10 to 15 knots, which will turn northwesterly at 15 to 20 knots during the evening. So, yeah, if you're going to head out in the water, I think get out in the morning for those for the rain and the thunderstorms start.
Yeah.
We've got a low pressure system moving across waters to the south of the state during this week, and that will sling a couple of cold fronts around it, and so that will keep the shower activity going, especially through the middle of the week. So 2 to 6 millimetres expected on Wednesday, and much colder, just at top of 14 degrees expected there on Wednesday. 15 the expected top on Thursday, with 5 to 10 millimetres expected. And there'll be a bit of cold air coming up in the afternoon and evening, which could bring a chance of a thunderstorm then as well. And then on the Friday, we'll move into a southerly airstream, a little bit drier, a shower or two with up to 2 millimetres, the top of 15. And then for the weekend, just partly cloudy with tops of 15, and then a top of 17 for next Monday.
Good on you, Brett. Thank you.
Thanks, Brett.
We'll be watching the skies this week, no doubt about it. Brett Gage, Senior Forecaster at the Weather Bureau. It's 5 to 7. If you want to come on and have a brag about what you got up to on your long weekend, call us right now, 8223 0000. We're going to be speaking about a Western Australian boy who was very much looking forward to catching up with his school friends today to do precisely that, have a brag about what happened to him on his long weekend.
Taking time to listen can make all the difference. Farrell and O'Neill Funerals is a South Australian family company committed to guiding and supporting families at an emotional time. We value a lifetime by offering a compassionate, caring and unique service with attention to the smallest detail. Finding guidance through a difficult time can be comforting. Farrell and O'Neill Funerals, 8296 3134.
We open our doors to people we trust and care about. And for over 85 years, South Australians have been opening their doors to Rest Haven. In turn, we've been opening doors to an easier, better life at home. From personal care to help with the shopping and social outings, you'll welcome the care that Rest Haven brings.
This is a paid message from the Australian Society of Ophthalmologists. US Managed Healthcare has landed in Australia with a joint venture between NIB and American giant Cigna Health Corporation. US Managed Healthcare means the health insurer seeks to exert control over your care, including the cost of treatment, extent of treatment, choice of doctors, choice of hospital and more. With our Australian system, you have a choice, but with US Managed Care, you won't. It's that simple. So if you want to be able to choose, then let's send the Eagle home. Let your local federal MP know that you can say no to US Managed Healthcare in Australia. For further information, visit their website, sendtheeaglehome.com.au, authorised by Kay Gallagher, Australian Society of Ophthalmologists.
Hi, I'm Joey from Verve Electrical. We've just taken delivery of our Renault Traffic. There's heaps of room in the cab, it's easy to drive and versatile. I love the van so much, we're getting another one.
From just $37,490 drive away. Renault Traffic.
It's my business, it's my van.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
2 to 7. Do you get anything exciting on the weekend? Maybe not even that exciting. Just want to come on and have a brag about it. Let us know, 8223 or text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. I suspect no one will be able to brag as much as the 10-year-old boy recovering in Perth Hospital at the moment after he was bitten not once but twice by a shark.
Hopefully I can go back and spend a week there to rest it, and I'm going to tell all my friends if I go to school for a day and say I got bitten by a shark and tell them my story.
Can't wait to get to school to tell his mates he got bitten by a shark. And you know what? That's beautiful because it'll be the next 80 years of his life. We'll be doing the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah. The other thing, too, is I reckon once you've been bitten by a shark, you're in the clear.
Yes.
It's like the statistician's joke.
Yes.
How do you make sure there's not a bomb on the plane? Take a bomb with you.
Yeah.
Because the chances of there being 2 bombs on a plane are so... Well, they're non-existent. It's never happened. Has anyone been attacked twice by a shark?
It's a great question.
I reckon you could marinate yourself overnight in oyster sauce, go swimming for the rest of your life after all that kid's been
Sharks
through.
a big fan of oyster sauce, are they?
Oh, yes, it's a natural attractant. He's been to the Australian School of Understatement, that kid. Like, I was listening to that last night. He's going, he just came in, bronze whaler, and just started sort of biting on my foot. And then I looked down and realised, that's actually... He called it a sore. He said, I've got a bit of a sore there. So, yeah, that's because the shark has taken out a chunk of flesh extending from your big toe to your ankle. Oh.
Big toe to your ankle, that's a serious bite.
I mean, it's certainly serious, more serious than what happened with you with the old Titan triggerfish.
I think it's similar. I mean, if he wants to reach out to me about what comes next in terms of, the trauma and the nightmares.
Phil got... After Will got bitten by something you can get at most pet shops. I've been savaged by a hermit crab.
I didn't refer to it as a sore. I actually referred to it as a gaping flesh wound.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Imagine my shock when I looked down and it had barely penetrated the skin.
Right. Looked like I've been scratched with a fingernail. No, gutsy kid.
Absolutely, good on him.
If you had a similar, adventure over the long weekend.
Look, just brag about something.
Yeah.
Maybe you just went and had a good meal. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be eaten by a shark level.
No.
8223 or text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line 044808 1395. News headlines are on the way, and then we'll get into some of the big stories that have played out overnight after 7 o'clock.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers increasing 18 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience, with 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
The cause of an early morning house fire at Paraka is under investigation. The alarm was raised on Bramble Court just after 1 a.m. Crystal Mitchell from the MFS says it started in a bedroom.
The 2 occupants were transported to hospital by SA ambulance for treatment of smoke inhalation. Damage is estimated at $140,000 and the cause is undetermined.
2 teenagers have been arrested after allegedly stealing a BMW from a Royston Park driveway. The chopper was used to track 2 people seen running from the area last night after the owner was alerted to the theft via his phone. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says arrests were made a short time later.
The Western District Patrols located the suspects hiding in a front yard of a house, and they also located the keys just off South Road. So 2 teenage boys, aged 17 and 16, from Riddington and St Mary's were charged with illegal use and unlawful possession. One of them was refused bail and will appear in court today, and the other was granted bail.
There are more details today ahead of next week's state budget. Minister for Correctional Services, Vincent Tarzia, says $4 million will be spent on another 100 state-of-the-art electronic monitoring bracelets.
They're fitted with biometric fingerprint technology, enhanced tamper detection capability, and they're 4G enabled to mitigate the risk of network outages. So they're essential to support low-level offenders living in the community where the courts have deemed it appropriate.
Australia and the UK are expected to sign an in-principle agreement on free trade this afternoon. Prime Minister Scott Morrison and his British counterpart have been working through stumbling blocks around farm workers and agriculture imports. Mr Morrison says it's a chance to create strong trade ties not seen since the UK joined the EU in the 1970s.
The Brexit that has occurred is an opportunity for us to pick up where we left off
all those many years ago, and to once again realise the scale of the trading relationship that we once had.
NATO leaders have declared China a constant security challenge and believe the country is working to undermine global order. The leaders of the 30-member alliance also discussed threats posed by Russia over the weekend. NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg says tensions are worsening with President Vladimir Putin.
Our relationship with Russia is at its lowest point since the Cold War. And Moscow's aggressive actions are a threat to our security.
An inquiry has found there's no evidence journalist Martin Bashir was rehired by the BBC to cover up the controversial circumstances around his 1995 interview with Princess Diana. No one involved in his recruitment in 2016 had knowledge of the deceitful methods he used to secure the tell-all. Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide defender Dave McKay is going to have to wait until Thursday night with his case for bumping Hunter Clark not set to be heard by the tribunal until then. Meantime, Collingwood has farewelled their coach of 10 years with an upset 17-point win over Melbourne in the traditional Queen's Birthday clash. Nathan Buckley saying he'll always have a special place in his heart for the Pies.
I've still got a lot of life to live, and I've still got passions to chase, and Collingwood will always be a passion, and I will always want to see it as an organisation and the people within it prosper, and I'll be supporting from afar.
Ariane Titmus has smashed her old Australian record by more than a second in the 200-metre freestyle. That's at the Olympic swimming trials here in Adelaide. Kelly McCone won the women's 200-metre individual medley, posting the fastest time in the world this year. Well, the AFL's not the only sport being affected by the coronavirus restrictions. The NBL announcing the first 2 games of the best-of-5 grand final series will be played in Perth. The Wildcats are through to the grand final and will face either South East Melbourne Phoenix or Melbourne United. John Millman has had a win on the grass at Queen's. Millman beat American Riley Opelka in 3 sets. Meantime, fellow Aussie Jordan Thompson had a straight sets opening round win against Daniel Altmaier in a tournament in Germany. And in the NRL, the bottom-placed Bulldogs pulled off a big upset, smashing St George 28-6. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now checking FIVEaa traffic.
Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles, now at Dave Potter.
Good morning. Got a burst water main this morning at Coromandel Valley. That's on Main Road near the Walk. Seaton Urgent Waterworks there. Trimmer Parade near Pioneer Street. Speeds reduced to 40 k's. On the freeway, speeds also reduced down to 60. That's both directions between the Tollgate and Measdays Bridge. And speed cameras this morning. Galloway Road, Christie's Beach. Phillip Highway, Elizabeth South. And Pearling Avenue at Edinburgh. Need your tyres fast? Bo from Bo Repairs has you covered. Get fitted in 30 minutes or get a free tyre. Visit borepairs.com.au. Selected stores only. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEaa.
Now the FIVEaa forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers increasing 18 today, showers tomorrow down to 14, 15 in showers on Thursday. Right now it's 14 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEaa.
In the last hour on Adelaide's FIVEaa.
Here's a question. Have you ever got something that you don't really want?
Like a present?
No, I'm getting a new car today. Apparently they're great. I'm getting the new Toyota Cougar.
No, but this is not about the car. This is about what it represents, isn't it?
I just need a car that I can fit all my family.
Exactly.
So I have to get rid of my Toyota Hilux.
Which you love more than... actually, in fact, more than a couple of the children, as I understand it.
This must be tantalising and annoying, all rolled into one, Vincent, but I guess public safety comes first. And what's the rationale behind delaying the freedom?
The government has been signposting it not so subtly since last week that there would be this 4-week extension. And as Boris Johnson said, there is a real possibility of the virus outrunning the vaccines, leading to thousands more deaths, which could otherwise have been avoided. The Indian variant has managed to spread quite rapidly in certain parts of the country, and so there are just worries that it could put too much strain on the NHS. So it's giving the NHS a few more crucial weeks.
You're listening to FIVEaa Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 after 7. We'll have more on the news out of the UK in just a moment. Been a huge 24 hours there. Of course, the G7's going on at Cornwall. They've had the extension of the lockdown. The Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and Boris Johnson are currently locked away, hoping to sign some sort of something greater than a memorandum of understanding when it comes to the Australia-UK free trade agreement, which is just as significant for them, perhaps even more so than us. It'll be their first free trade agreement since Brexit. So we'll get to all of that in a moment, and also want to get some input from you with regard to this extraordinary story about the 4-foot-tall Spider-Man that was stolen and then recovered. Some neighbours saw it. It was stolen from a parked car in Streeton Road, Manapara, used for children's events in schools. Someone had pinched it. A member of the public saw it in a nearby property, so it didn't get particularly far. The police came around and found it. Can't be too many. The problem with the crooks fell foul of is there's just not that many Spider-Men that are 4 feet tall roaming around Adelaide.
There's a few of these things dotted around town. There's a house in Aldinga, a 2-storey, looks like a Rivergum home or a Sarah home place, that's got a Humphrey Bogart on the balcony holding a handgun. And when you drive past it at night, he's wearing the trench coat. It's bogey in full sort of,
fantastic. Well, like
crime noir
Casablanca
mode.
style.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird. And there's also that fantastic house on Marion Road near Cowandilla, sort of opposite Hungry Jack's there, that has got T-Rexes, Velociraptors.
Well, this is just what we're asking you for the $100 Waller's gift card this morning. What do you own? Do you think is totally weird or totally unique? 82230000. Text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line too. Pat has called in on a very different issue. Pat, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, fellas. How are you?
Good,
thanks, Pat.
Yeah, about the kids wearing different colour armbands. We used to, in the under-9s, under-11s in our club and our association down the Brossa, they have to, we put black armbands on the centres because you got the ground segmented in the little kids. So you got 6 in the forward line, 6 in the middle, 6 in the back line. If you didn't have that, it'd be like a rolling mall.
Yeah.
There'd be 36 players around the ball. So
right.
If you're doing that, we put black armbands on the centres to stop them drifting down the forward line. If you're in the play, you can do that, but as soon as the ball goes somewhere else, you've got to get back to your position.
You've got to go back to your spot.
So it teaches you...
It teaches the kids to remain where they should be, like to play their positions. And,
I totally get that. I get that, Pat. My understanding, though, was that there's been a change this year or last year where they've now got there's a wristband you have to wear to show that you're a designated goal kicker.
Oh, no, that's only the 6'4", it's the same thing. The 6 centres had to wear a black armband to keep them out of the forward line.
Yeah,
the forward line are the only guys that can kick goals.
Okay.
You can't be having the other kids drift down in there. You've got to have the ground a bit clear, open it up so the kids can get a decent run at it.
All right, thank you, Pat. That makes a little bit more sense than, the sort of egalitarian idea that, everyone should get to kick goals, which would have, made me suffer under the delusion that I could have played sport for much longer than I did.
Well, there is a lot to be said for finding out at some point in life that you're not actually very good at something.
Yeah.
And we tiptoe around that a bit these days.
I vividly remember being at Sports Day when I was in reception, the first time I'd ever done it, I'd been in a competitive race. And we're all running, and I think I came last or second last or something, and I went, I'm slow.
Yeah.
I had this moment, I'm like, okay.
I realised in year
it.
10 I'm a rubbish footballer. And I was also like a year younger than everyone else, and I just thought, I'm just going to do other stuff.
Yeah, that's right. It's good for you to find out.
Yeah.
Imagine if you go through year 12 and you're like, I think I'm good at everything.
Yeah. Well, part of the problem these days is that too many people are told that, yeah, you're doing all right. Well, actually, no, you're not.
Yeah.
So find another skill.
Let's talk about some of the big news that developed overnight. A lot of it has to do with Australia and the world stage. Scott Morrison, the Prime Minister, has raised China's list of 14 grievances against Australia. We remember this, we spoke about it at length, that their ambassador here in the country provided to the federal government. He presented that to the private address Australia was invited to give on the final day of the G7 summit, said, look, this is the kind of thing we're dealing with in our part of the world. This goes against our ideals of things like open and transparent societies and markets and whatnot. He said that while it was not a surprise to the G7 leaders that we'd received a list like that, he said there was a lot of interest around the reasons behind us getting it and how we're dealing with it. The response is interesting, and it's somewhat mixed. The Italian Prime Minister, Mario Draghi, said the only difference in views that he had with Scott Morrison were the intensities of the messages to China. The idea, there was a pretty telling little soundbite that got played in 5AA News a short time ago. I think European leaders look at China a bit like we do about Russia. So what's the issue? We know there's some tension, but what what's actually going on? It's that sort of view. Justin Trudeau from Canada had this to say.
All of us have responded in various ways to issues that have arisen regarding China. What we really came together clearly to say and to put forward today was a need to speak with one voice, a need to coordinate much more closely.
And as far as any form of strong comment comes from these kind of consensus meetings goes, it was a pretty strong one that's been issued to China on issues of human rights and the desire of these countries of these stature to defend the right of open markets and free trade and these sorts of ideals. The other thing that got discussed at length, of course, was COVID. Here is Scott Morrison.
The purpose of these inquiries is to understand. Got nothing to do with politics or, frankly, blame or anything else. It's about understanding it so we all, on a future occasion, should it occur, can respond and avoid the absolute carnage that we've seen from this pandemic to both lives and livelihoods all around the world.
Of course, that goes to the origins of COVID-19 and the desire that the Prime Minister has there is a full and thorough investigation into things, even like the Wuhan lab theory.
Well, there was a really interesting piece in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend that said that the main reason China was so quick to put forward the theory that the virus originated in the notorious wet markets of Wuhan, where you could buy yourself a pangolin or a bat for dinner, was that it took the heat off the lab theory. And that the one concession China has made was, we've actually got to do something about these wet markets. But there's a whole school of thought that actually may have nothing to do with the wet markets.
The other thing that was significant amongst so many in the UK in the last 48 hours was the re-emergence of the USA as a power that wanted to be part of these sorts of discussions. Donald Trump was very much of that old Woodrow Wilson era US approach to foreign relations, which was, we're not that interested. We're going to do our thing, you do yours.
And I'll do it one-on-one.
That's right.
As per his North Korean visit.
Exactly right. Well, that's changed now. So too is the US position on championing efforts on climate change.
One of the things some of my colleagues said to me when I was there was, well, the United States' leadership recognizes there is global warming. And I know that sounds silly, but, we had a president who basically said it's not a problem, global warming.
The other big international discussion that was going on, of course, was talks at NATO that Joe Biden spoke at. And again, China was on the agenda.
There is a growing recognition over the last couple of years that we have new challenges. And we have Russia that is not acting in a way that is consistent with what we had hoped, and as well as China.
What are we talking about with China, though? Like, in a military sense, do we think they're going to go and invade Taiwan? And is this part of?
I think that's a concern.
The world, the civilized free world is going. What do we do when that happens? What do we do with that?
That's an open question that everyone's looking to the US, as we have done since the Second World War, for an answer to.
Yeah,
I don't think Europe would lead any sort of response.
Oh, no, it's not in their DNA.
That's right, and it's our part of the world, so it has ramifications for us. Yeah, that's the most live and unanswerable question at the moment in global politics. The thing that's going to matter that came out of some discussions late last night, and Phil Curry's written on extensively for the Fin Review today, is about the prospect of a UK Australia free trade agreement. The understanding is, and Phil's reporting this, is it will be signed. It'll be the deal will be effectively done, which would, and this is really interesting, allow a movement of people between Australia and the UK that would only be second to New Zealand in terms of freedom of access, where Australia and New Zealand you can largely work and live in either country without any sort of barriers. It would become almost like that with the UK. Scott Morrison's saying it'd be like pre-1973. With Australia and the UK.
With one big caveat that he needs to change his mind about whether Australians are allowed to leave the country or not.
Well, that's right. It's all theoretical at this point in time.
Great concept.
If you've got... What are the things... We've got a lot of expat Brits that listen to us as well. What are the things you think that are Australian that will sell really well in the UK? And what are some of the things in the UK that you think will go really well here? 8223 0000. Text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line,
I wanna-
0480 08 1395.
I want to see some of those English flavoured potato chips coming over here. They got really good chips.
That's a good
in
point.
England.
We'll take chips. We'll put that on the list.
Yeah.
All right, let's check traffic. Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles right now at Dave Potter Honda.
Good morning. Look out for a few burst water mains this morning. One at Coromandel Valley, that's on Main Road near the Walk, and the other at Seaton on Trimmer Parade near Pioneer Street. Speeds down to 40 k's there. On the freeway, speeds also reduced down to 60 both directions from the Tollgate to Measdays Bridge. Getting busy this morning, Carrara Park, South Road Anzac Highway to Everard Avenue. That's as you're heading towards Mile End. And speed cameras to look out for this morning, Dyson Road, Christie's Beach, Fairfield Road, Elizabeth Grove, and Pimpala Road at Woodcroft. When your life changes, your insurance should too. UE, you insured. Consider the car and home PDS at ue.com.au when deciding if this product is right for you. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Like Colonel Light's salute, a meat pie swimming in pea soup, covered in tomato sauce. Like the bronze pigs in Rundle Mall and the Popeye on the Torrens. The world-class Adelaide Oval and our pristine beaches. Things that make our fine state. It's who we are. Local, iconic, proud. They're as SA as AA. Live, local, and always informing Adelaide. 5AA.
Adelaide Cabaret Festival is here, June 11 to 26 at Adelaide Festival Centre. Book your tickets now for a spectacular program directed by Hollywood star cabaret royalty Alan Cumming. Adelaide Cabaret Festival will thrill you with song, comedy, art, magic, trivia, and all sorts of cabaret delights. Warm up your winter and experience the best cabaret talent from across the country. Your banquet awaits. Book now at AdelaideCabaretFestival.com.au.
The countdown is on. You have less than 3 days until the early bird deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Don't miss your chance to win a Porsche Taycan. Plus, your ticket stays in the draw to win the ultimate beachside lifestyle in the grand prize home on the Esplanade at South Brighton and $1 million cash. Imagine watching sunsets from your balcony mortgage-free. Join the fight for cures, better treatments and improved care by purchasing your tickets now at homelottery.com.au. Licence M13989.
Well, we all love this time of year. It is mini jumbuck time of year. I tell you what, it's pretty chilly down at the Dinger on the weekend. It could have done with a bit of mini jumbuck action. Keep your family warm and toasty with the mini jumbuck range of woolen quilts, mattress toppers and pillows, including the new sleepwear range.
Yeah, and the bit we love here at 5AA is that Mini Jumbuck is 100% South Australian with a store in McLaren Vale, the main factory outlets in Narracourt. You can literally go and see this stuff being made. And again, David, to anyone who says we don't make anything in here anymore,
That's right. Family business, locally owned, employing locals. Mini Jumbuck, they continue to excel by partnering too with local farmers as part of their new Limestone Coast wool program, and they've been making Australia's favourite wool bedding for more than 45 years.
The Mini Jumbuck factory in Narracourt is open 7 days, so if you are in the area, make sure you call in and check it out. It truly is an amazing South Australian product that's been made there. It would be very difficult to walk away empty-handed as well. So, bring your wallet and your phone and however you pay with you. Visit minijumbuck.com.au for more info and to place an online order for delivery to your door.
Major road resurfacing works on the Southeastern Freeway between the Toll Gate and Hyson tunnels will be underway until mid-2021. Motorists should expect delays, so allow extra travel time. Visit dit.sa.gov.au/SE Freeway. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Don't wait for spring to get cleaning. This cooler weather's perfect for spending time at home decluttering. And by donating your quality clothing and homewares to Vinnie's, you can feel good about letting them go, because profits from their sale will help people doing it tough in our community. You could even say that Vinnie's are compassion converters, transforming your pre-loved treasures into a hand up for people who need it. Find out where to donate at vinnies.org.au/shops.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 after 7. When we got Bruce today on the program today, we did so in anticipation of a conversation about his new role, moving from the head of football at Adelaide United to the head of the City for Adelaide Committee. But in between that, Adelaide United had one of their great wins in finals history. So there's a lot to talk to Bruce Jitte about. Bruce, good morning to you, mate, and congrats on the new gig.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Very exciting win, Bruce. Were you able to get out there for the game?
Yeah, certainly. I was up there for the game, and I'll be up in Sydney this weekend for the semi-final as well. But very nerve-wracking, especially the last 20-odd minutes. But the boys did exceptionally well and started the game very well. And I think, in finals, sometimes you got to suffer. You just got to hang on. You got to defend desperately, and the boys did that.
You've built this squad. You've seen them get to a point now where they've withstood injuries and had an incredible away finals victory. Did any part of you watching it think, oh, geez, it's going to be hard to walk away from this?
Look, it didn't take a finals game to realise it'd be hard to walk away. I love the club. It was hard for me to tell the staff and players that I was leaving. So, there's challenges in life, but you know what it's like. You leave and they will think about you the next day in the warm-up, and after that, you're a distant memory.
That's right. Remember that Bruce guy? I used to work here.
Players are used to, having changing coaches and going out the next week and performing under a new boss as well. So, sport is very cutthroat, and just like players get released from contracts and have to move on to different clubs, they're also quick to put in the back of their mind admin staff, let alone coaches.
Yeah. So, Bruce, the reason we originally lined you up to come on was about the job that you've landed heading up the committee for Adelaide. How long is it since you've been living here? Because you came from the States via Sydney, but you've made Adelaide your home and you've become a really well-known Adelaide person. You've been here for quite a while now, haven't you?
I have been here for quite a while now, on and off, mind you. I came in 2006 to play for Adelaide United as a teenager, left in 2008, came back in 2011, left in 2016, came back in 2019, do not plan on going anywhere anytime soon. Both my kids were born here. I was married here. A lot of, big memories were made in Adelaide, and I've lived all over the world. And sometimes it takes you to go and get a global view of the place, whether it be Turkey, China, Korea, or Indonesia, or the States where I've lived, to realise just how phenomenal a city and state we have here, and we certainly do.
Have you ever heard that saying, the only people who bag Adelaide are the ones who've never been there and the ones who've never left it?
It doesn't surprise me. It might be a saying, but I think that there's some truth to that.
Yeah. I can see why you keep coming back. Well, Bruce, when you settled into the new role, I'd love to talk to you about what some of the things you're looking at championing as the head guy for Adelaide are, and it's a fascinating role. So we wish you all the best with it, and for now, go the Reds for next Saturday too.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on, and I look forward to coming back on and spruiking how fantastic Adelaide is and what the committee plans to do.
One of our favourite subjects. Good on you, Bruce.
Thanks, Bruce.
Bruce Jitte, Adelaide United head of football, who is transitioning to that excellent new role. We very much do look forward to those chats in future. 25 after 7. Let's talk sport. Thanks to the wonderful people at North Point Toyota. The all-new Kluger Hybrid has arrived at North Point. Book your test drive today. It's the North Point way. We've got a very happy recipient of a new Kluger in the room right now.
Oh, yes.
Not because of the car, we should reiterate. No. It's because it's a man transitioning to a different stage of his life.
That's right.
And he's resisting it actively. All right, let's talk sport. Rowie joins us this morning. Rowie.
David and Will, good morning. Well done to the Reds. He's going to be sorely missed. Brucey Jitte, he's a star. But what a weekend of sport. I'll start with the Crows. 6 goals down. Playing terribly. Will, you called it with me and Bix. They regrouped after half-time to win by a kick. A truly amazing game and effort. Riley Thilthorpe's goal, you needed to see it to believe it. It was a left foot snap over his shoulder. He picked it up cleanly, under pressure. To do that when he's a right footer at 200 centimetres was unbelievable. The shepherd on the line by Fogg, everything worked out.
Yeah.
This team is building, and they're building the right way. I like it. I like it.
You were sitting next to my offsider here when he almost blew a gasket. Let's hear it again. Come on, we'll hit that button. Play it again.
Thilthorpe kicks it backwards over his head to
towards the square. He's kicked a goal. It's unbelievable. Yeah! The Crows hit the front. 62 seconds remaining. Riley Thilthorpe has pulled something out of the top drawer.
He's done a scissor kick soccer style over his head, 15 metres out for a goal. He's got his third. The Crows are in front by 5. I can't believe it, Bix.
It's amazing. You blokes are going to become cult heroes with this. That was sensational.
Oh, honestly, I heard the hemorrhoid pop, Will. Something popped when I was next to you.
It really did.
It was part of his brain.
No, I did.
Something popped. Riley Thilthorpe, round 14, damn rising star, 13. A fait accompli. It was just a matter of time. Well done. But listen, all eyes are on the David Mackay bump now. If we got time, just quickly.
Yep.
He'll face the AFL Tribunal Thursday. We know that. It's no charge. It's up to the AFL now to sort that out. For me, it was a genuine 50-50 footy collision. Both players committed, eyes on the ball. We know all of that. It was a copybook footy collision. It'll be groundbreaking if he gets a game here. It'll change the fabric of the game, all of that. I've said it for years. It's a game changer if he gets a suspension. It basically means players will now be 100% responsible for any and all situations in a contest if the opposition is injured. So it's not about intent or accident. This is now about outcome if he gets a game. It'll be a disgrace. An absolute disgrace.
The AFL statement, Rowie, literally says that they will argue that regardless of whether he was 1, contesting the ball, or 2, bumping Clark, or both, he still contravened the general prohibition on unreasonable contact. So they're saying it doesn't matter now if you go for the ball. If you're just trying to get the ball but someone gets it, that means if you're flying for a mark of the year and you knee someone in the back of the head and they get hurt, you got to get it suspended now. That's what they're saying.
Past players calling for change of behaviour on the field, which is either take a short step or avoid contact, coach that out of the game. Others have even said that. They're complete twats, and I don't even know if that's a word. Here's the thing. If he misses a game for that, D-Mac, people like me, or a person misses a final from now on from that, we need to, lead a revolt to AFL House. We can't sit and allow a lad like that to cop a game, any lad. I'm not saying it because he's a Crow.
Yeah.
He was committed fantastically to the contest that we've all been taught how to do. Honestly, I'm flabbergasted. Flabbergasted.
Of all the people to charge,
That's
too.
right.
I mean, you got David Granger at one end of the spectrum and David Mackay at the other. Like in fact, he's criticised by a lot of Crows fans for not having enough of a crack.
Well, it'll be a big talking point on the sports show tonight. Looking forward to it, Rowie. The all-new Kluger Hybrid arrived at North Point Toyota. Book your test drive today. It is the North Point way.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers increasing in 18 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra, your one-stop shop. Physio, Pilates, podiatry, massage, dietetics. For appointments, visit physioextra.com.
A 16 and 17-year-old have been arrested over the theft of a BMW from a western suburbs driveway. The driver was alerted via his phone that the car had been taken from Royston Park. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says he gave patrols a location.
Police arrived, they located the BMW and the wing mirrors on the car activated, so it sort of indicated that the keys were nearby. The police helicopter was airborne and tracked 2 people running from the area. One of the suspects was seen to throw something over a fence.
One of the teenagers will front court today. The younger of the 2 has been bailed to front court at a later date. 2 people have been treated for smoke inhalation after a house fire at Paraka. Crystal Mitchell from the MFS says the early morning blaze has caused $140,000 damage.
Just after 1 a.m. this morning, MFS received a 000 call for a house fire on Bramble Court at Paraka. 3 appliances and 12 firefighters arrived to find the 2 occupants had evacuated and a fire well involved in a bedroom and through the roof.
More pre-budget announcements from the state government today. Minister for Correctional Services, Vincent Tarzia, has the details.
$4 million will support 100 additional electronic monitoring bracelets. High-level supervision of offenders is a must to maintain the safety and the security of South Australians.
A further $1.5 million will be allocated to develop a full business case for a new rehabilitation prison. The 2021-22 state budget will be handed down next week. The Federal Treasurer has confirmed a Tamil family in detention on Christmas Island will soon be reunited on Australian shores. Priya, Nades and their 2 Queensland-born daughters have been on the island since 2019. Pressure has been mounting on the federal government to release the family after one of the girls was medically evacuated to Perth due to a blood infection. Josh Frydenberg says the Immigration Minister will make an official announcement this morning.
The actual statement will be released by the Minister, Alex Hawke, later this morning, so I'll leave him to release that detail. But what I can say is that the family will be reunited in Australia very shortly.
The United Kingdom's COVID lockdown is being pushed back by another month due to a spike in Delta variant cases. It's been in shutdown since March, and celebrations had been planned for June 21, which had been dubbed Freedom Day. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says the extension could be revoked if the situation changes.
We will monitor the position every day, and if, after 2 weeks, we have concluded that the risk has diminished, then we reserve the possibility of proceeding to step 4 and a full opening sooner.
Border officers are hunting 2 runaway crew members who fled a Chinese ship docked at Geelong. The 2 managed to evade security early on Sunday and have not returned to the freighter. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $500 on selected Asco cooking appliances. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. The Dave McKay Tribunal hearing has divided opinion throughout the league as he waits to learn his fate. That will happen on Thursday night after he collided with St Kilda's Hunter Clark, which broke the young Saints' jaw. Many have said it was incidental contact and he should not be penalised, while some suggest he should be suspended for up to a month. St Kilda great Nick Riewoldt has told Fox Footy the AFL's handling of the situation has been poor.
The AFL are aware of the magnitude of this case. So they're aware of the magnitude, but they're happy to hand it over to 3 part-time tribunal members to determine the future fabric of the game.
One game to wrap up the round yesterday. Nathan Buckley with a final win as coach for the Pies as they beat Melbourne by 17 points. Promising young boxer Justice Hooney will fight Paul Gallen tomorrow night in a heavyweight showdown. Hooney using the fight as part of his preparation for the Olympic Games, and he says Gallen better be prepared for an onslaught tomorrow night.
I'm going to be hitting him everywhere and anywhere. Obviously, with legal punches and in legal places, but yeah, anywhere that's open, I'm going to be targeting. So it's going to be an awesome fight. He's going to bring his A game. I'm going to bring mine. Yeah, we're going to put on a good show for all of the viewers.
And in the Euros this morning, Spain and Sweden have played out a 0-0 draw, while earlier Slovakia got over Poland 2-1, while the Czech Republic beat Scotland 2-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles, now at Dave Potter.
Good morning. Got a smash at Dry Creek today. The north-south motorway city bound. That's near Globe Derby Park. At Seaton, a burst water main there. Trimmer Parade near Pioneer Street. Speeds down to 40. Another burst water main at Coromandel Valley. That's on Main Road near the Walk. On the freeway, speeds reduced down to 60 both directions. That's between the Tollgate and Measdays Bridge. And look out for speed cameras today. Andrew Road, Andrews Farm, and Dyson Road at Christie's Beach. More MG at Hamilton MG. Great drive-away prices and a $700 bonus on every new vehicle sold. 7 days only. Hamilton MG, Brighton and Morford Vale. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
18 for your Tuesday with showers increasing. Showers tomorrow 14, Thursday showers and 15. Right now it's 14 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Eye health on healthy living, thanks to Specsavers.
Simon Kelly, one of our favourite optometrists with Specsavers. Let's move on to diabetic retinopathy, which is something feared by most people living with diabetes, of course. Why does it happen?
Yeah, well, there's a good reason for it to be feared. Unfortunately, it's the leading cause of blindness in working people, and that's because the eye is particularly sensitive to cardiovascular diseases due to all the little blood vessels that are all through the back of the eye. And with diabetes, it causes the inner lining of the blood vessels to break down and leak, and so then that unfortunately causes scarring and bleeding in the back of the eye, which the body, when it tries to repair it, it actually does more damage to the retina, which is already really delicate. So 90% of people with diabetes start to develop problems within 10 years, so that's why it's really important they get checked.
Specsavers, where every eye test includes an OCT advanced 3D eye scan at no extra charge.
I'm Kathy Nagel, the Chief Executive of Western Hospital, Henley Beach. Western Hospital is proud to offer accessible and relevant healthcare services to our community. We have a 24-hour intensive care unit that is available to patients of the hospital. It has been recently licensed as a Level 2 ICU, ensuring we can manage and treat more dependent patients. Western Hospital, your hospital that cares. For a full list of doctors who visit and consult at Western Hospital, call 8159 1200 or visit westernhospital.com.au.
It's at the Mount. What a fantastic business. I love these guys. Now, the story of the family, how's this for being rooted in tradition? Started in 1857 when they settled the land they still live on today and they started farming cattle.
Yeah, Meat at the Mount is ethically sourced, GMO and hormone-free, and they really pride themselves on providing the highest quality fresh meat to their customers, and it's part of the reason they've been around for so long.
That's right. And look, there's such a part of the Flurio's superb food culture because local meat always tastes better. There's no doubt about it. But if you can't get the Meat at the Mount, remember, they can deliver to your door. Just jump online to order.
Chicken, beef, pork, marinated wings, barbecue packs, diced beef, chicken kebabs, and so much more. All incredible value. It's all available from Meat at the Mount. Jump online and have a look. Visit meatatthemount.com.au or call into Shop 3 at the IGA in Mount Compass.
Well, getting out and exploring the great outdoors is something, but the right products can make it kick-ass. I'm with the man behind the brand, Clayton Sheehan. I hear the fridges are the best.
I guess that comes from the fact that I've been selling fridges for 14 years, listening to customers' feedback, and I've put every single piece of feedback into our 75-litre kick-ass fridges, from inbuilt Anderson plugs, everybody hates bad connections, our cover, there's not just one big lid, it's two separate parts, it's a dual zone, it's got Bluetooth, it's even got USB so you can charge your phone, or a cigarette socket so you can plug a kick-ass food sealer in. It's not just about buying a fridge, it's about buying the full kick-ass solution.
Thank you, Clayton. You can check out the kick-ass products range available exclusively at australiandirect.com.au.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
21 to 8 on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line. Tony says he's got something fairly unique. He owns a 79-centimetre tall Darth Vader that's actually a retro gaming console with thousands of retro arcade and console games in it.
That sounds pretty cool.
That's pretty unique, Tony. Keep
I bet
an
it's
eye
got
on that.
Galaxian.
Probably does. Glenn from Glenunga has a story that challenges your statistician's joke theory. Glenn says, shark bite only the once. Well, not necessarily the case. I've got a mate who's been bitten twice by a shark in SA and New South Wales, and I watched him get chased in by a bunch of sharks at Pondy when we were in high school, which put me off my bodyboarding career.
Well, maybe the reworking of the gag could be that when you go swimming, just take Glenn from Glenunga's mate with you, because he's clearly going to be the one who's attacked by the shark.
Still works. 20 to 8. Phil Curry from the Fin Review joins us. Morning to you, Phil.
Hey, good morning, fellas. How are you?
Good, thanks, Phil. Hey, Phil, tell us about this Tamil family that are in the news right now. Stories sort of unfolding this morning that the federal government, the ministers, looks like I think he's got like a discretionary power to step in that case himself and let them stay in Australia. So what's the go with them?
Well, it's just one of these stories, Dave, that's been around for years and years and years, and it's got to the point, I think, where political pressure has sort of built, the other way. So they're a Tamil family. The two parents came here as individuals on boats a long time ago, I think when Labor was in government. Both came separately. They were classified as illegals because they were never granted refugee status. And whilst they were sort of here fighting that through the courts, they met, they got married, and they had children. And they took up residence in this little town called Billawheeler up in central Queensland, where the community was quite happy to have them. They were very popular and they assimilated quite well. But of course, they were never meant to stay the federal court ruled they weren't refugees, and then they challenged that in the High Court, and the High Court denied them leave to appeal. So basically every court in the land said, you're not refugees, you have to go home. They then, I'm not quite sure how this will work, but then there was something with one of their little girls. There was a legal issue that one of the little girls who was born here wasn't given due process, so they managed to delay it again and again and again, and eventually the government rounded them up and put them in Christmas Island 2 years ago with a view to deporting them, and they got another sort of stage or another illegal avenue. Anyhow, what's happened in the last little while is Labor took up their cause. Christina Keneally, the Shadow Minister, sort of decided they should be able to stay. That this has gone on too long, so she started campaigning on their behalf. They've got a lot of support up in Billawheeler. And then we saw last week one of the little girls got quite crook up in Christmas Island, and they had to fly down to Perth, and saw these harrowing images of this sick little girl. And I think sort of public opinion began to sort of change pretty quick. A lot of people said, "Oh, just let them stay. How much money are we going to spend on this?" And they've got somewhere to go. They've got a town that likes them, that wants them. They're not going to. It's not going to sort of start the boats again if they're allowed to stay. So I think the government today is going to make some sort of decision that they can just stay.
Yeah. And Phil, you're reporting in the Fin Review this morning that you expect some sort of agreement to be reached on the Australia-UK free trade agreement. I saw that the Prime Minister disappeared into number 10 and people were shouting out overnight, is there going to be some sort of a deal? Your reporting seemed to be the most confident.
Well, I'm not confident of a deal. I'm confident of an agreement to keep talking. Is sort of what.
Okay.
So they're not going
exciting.
to sign on the bottom line today because, as they wanted to, this is a free trade deal which began when Malcolm Turnbull was Prime Minister. When Britain talked about Brexit, we thought we'll get the first free trade deal with Britain because they're going to lose all their sort of trade ties with Europe. And it had been hoped that Scott Morrison and Johnson would sort of ink the deal today in Downing Street. But the thing's been held up on agriculture and a whole bunch of things. So I think they'll sign something because leaders always have to sign something. It'll be seen to be. They'll probably sort of agree what I've told as an in-principle agreement. So it's close to a deal, but it sort of means they've got to talk a bit more about some details. But the federal government is saying they're not going to rush this. There's some stuff the British are holding out on that we just think is completely unacceptable, or they don't want to take our lamb or beef, tariff-free. And there's some visa issues as well. And, we don't sell a lot to Britain. Since they entered the common market in 1973, we really haven't been a big trading partner with them. So there's no sort of great pressing need just to sign a deal for the sake of it. So they'll agree to keep talking. They
can't sort of cherry pick sort of sector by sector, can they, Phil? Like there wouldn't be a chance that they could say, all right, well, look, for now you can start exporting more wine, for example.
That's not usually how they work, Dave. They just they're usually a comprehensive deal, and then they have to get legislated and signed off by both parliaments and stuff. So you've got to have the thing wrapped up with a ribbon around it. So, look, I suspect it's not too far off, but the Brits are really digging in on lamb and beef and sugar, and there's issues with working visas and stuff like that. And I suspect we'll want to do a deal because we've made such a big deal out of it. We're the ones who initiated this. So they'll want to walk away with something. I suspect, I was told yesterday they'll walk away with an in-principle agreement, which is, a bit more work to be done yet. But like I said, it's hardly a sort of red-hot issue in terms of domestic political pressures here. And then even in terms of economic advantage, it's not going to be huge. So no one's desperate to sort of, to do a dud deal just for the sake of it. It's better to hold out.
Yeah, sure. Good stuff, Phil. Phil Curry, the national political editor for the Australian Financial Review. We'll chat again later in the week, mate.
15 minutes to 8. If you know someone who is doing it tough and would benefit from receiving a Leader Computer's Windows 10 PC laptop, well, we want you to let us know, just like Michelle did, who nominated her husband, who, as a pilot, lost his employment with Virgin due to the pandemic, currently struggling along with a 10-year-old computer. Well, congratulations, Michelle. You got a new Leader Computer coming your way. This is the benefit of having a local company that cares about local people and employs local people. They can do stuff like this.
What about when we were in there last week? We saw the desk where if you, as a South Australian computer owner, in the rare event that you've got a technical problem with your computer, you go in there and say, "Hi, I'm Dave. Here's my computer," and they go, "G'day, Dave. I'll fix that for you."
Yeah, you literally go to the person who made it.
Try getting your Mac fixed.
Oh, good luck. Yeah. You might, most of the time you end up thinking I'll buy a new one.
Have you ever forgotten your Apple ID?
No, I haven't. Because I know how bad it can get.
It's like you're a non-person. You enter some sort of Kafkaesque vortex. It's like, am I even here?
Not with Leader.
No.
They are a national PC manufacturer, the largest 100% Australian PC brand, and as we say, built here, right here in Adelaide. We went and visited them in the week. It was really impressive, quite eye-opening as well. So if you buy a Leader, you are supporting the South Australian economy also, and you're getting local service and support. It doesn't get better than that. So whether it's a friend or a school, maybe a sporting club you want to nominate, get on to 5AA.com.au. Let us know. Always look for a Leader. Visit Leader Computer's website to find your closest Leader reseller. All right, We will check traffic now, thanks to Dave Potter Honda. See what's happening out there in our roads.
At Dry Creek, look out for a smash on the north-south motorway, citybound, Carvey middle barrier. The right-hand lane is closed. That's in Globe Derby Park. A couple of burst water mains this morning. One at Seaton Trimmer Parade near Pioneer Street. Speeds down to 40 k's. And another burst water main today, Coromandel Valley. That's on Main Road near The Walk. Speeds also reduced today on the freeway, both the up and down track, down to 60 k's. And that's between the toll gates and Measdays Bridge. As Australia recovers from COVID-19, Australian mining is still backing small business. Find out more at minerals.org.au. There's more to Australian mining. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The Isuzu D-Max is the best dual cab ute in the 2021 Drive Car of the Year Awards. Judges said the D-Max has not just moved the game forward, it has created a whole new sport. Powered by a 3-litre turbo diesel engine with wireless Apple CarPlay and 5-star safety, the D-Max is strong, smart and safe. Yes, the D-Max is the 2021 Ute of the Year. Move your game forward. Search Isuzu D-Max.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. The weather may be cooling down, but Adelaide property prices are hot. If you've been thinking of selling your home, now is the time. But it's not as simple as listing your house and watching the dollars flow in. A knowledgeable, hard-working agent can have a huge impact on the end result. The wrong one can literally cost you thousands. If you're thinking of selling and want to work with Australia's most awarded real estate agency, call Toop and Toop on 8362 8888 or go to toop.com.au.
Have you ever heard the saying, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey? Well, it could not be truer than when it comes to home renovations. It's hard to get excited about a new bathroom or kitchen reno if the whole process is a living nightmare.
Not so with the great people at Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. At Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, it's all about the journey. That's where Coxie and the entire team, they go to amazing lengths to make sure the process is trouble-free. From meeting Tammy, one of the owners, affectionately known as the Boss Lady, through to their incredible design team and millimetre-perfect tradespeople who are the tidiest tradies you'll ever meet. And what's more, they are on time.
Oh, that's nice. Start your journey to a stunning and worry-free home renovation with Urban Bathrooms, Kitchens, Flooring and Shutters. They're Adelaide's home renovation experts. We're due to see Coxie again. It's been a while. They're good people.
They are.
Good to deal with. The whole process will be fun. You know what the best part about that all is, though? It actually looks awesome at the end too.
Yeah. Oh, it's superb.
You know, let's not overlook the whole point. You get it done in the end.
Get in there, Glen Osmond Road.
That's right. Or you can go to the website. Visit byurban.com.au.
Adelaide Cabaret Festival is here, June 11 to 26 at Adelaide Festival Centre. Book your tickets now for a spectacular program directed by Hollywood star cabaret royalty Alan Cumming. Adelaide Cabaret Festival will thrill you with song, comedy, art, magic, trivia, and all sorts of cabaret delights. Warm up your winter and experience the best cabaret talent from across the country. Your banquet awaits. Book now at adelaidecabaretfestival.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Bob Jane T-Marts will look after you with their end of financial year monster deals. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
10 away, John Blake in a moment. Our weekend real estate wrap with Toop and Toop, not too far away either. But the weather is going to be a serious issue today. Up to 10 mils of rain. Well, that was the latest I saw. Chelsea Carey's got the latest for 9 News. What's coming, Chels?
Oh, yes, it's going to be a very wet week for us after that lovely, mild, long weekend. It's about to ramp up. Today at the moment, though, it is still quite mild. We're sitting on 14 degrees. There is some cloud around and there is the slight chance of a shower this morning, but the real rain is set to arrive late this afternoon and evening, maybe just as commuters are heading home from work. So make sure you do take care out on the roads today. Between 5 and 10 millimetres forecast across Adelaide, and there is a chance of a thunderstorm as well. The showers will persist tomorrow. Tomorrow isn't looking quite as wet as we first thought, but still 2 to 6 millimetres possible across the plains. It's going to become very cold tomorrow, just a top of 14 degrees. So that's what it is about now at the moment. And then we have another front to roll through on Thursday. So another wet and cold day, a top of 15 degrees. And we could see another 10 millimetres or so of rain. A shower or two lingering on Friday, maybe another couple of millimetres before clearing off over the weekend. We have a top of 15 for both Saturday and Sunday. So, guys, it's really looking like quite a wet week, which is good news as it has been relatively dry over the last few months. So at least we can see a good top-up for the tanks on the way this week.
Good stuff. Thank you, Chelsea.
Thanks,
Chelsea Carey from 9 News. It's 8 to 8. Time for our wonderful regional spotlight. Thanks to our major sponsors, Automasters. Time for that regional road trip. Get there and back safely. Call 1300 Automasters.
This time, we're heading to Mount Compass, home of Meat at the Mount, a wonderful butcher shop. Scott Endersby joins me. Scott, you are very proud that the product you sell is 100% Australian.
Yep, that's correct, Jane, and 100% South Australian.
How much of it is sourced locally within your local region?
Within the shop, I would say it would be 85% to 90% of the product would be sourced within our local region.
And I guess sort of the community that you're living in, that you would know a lot of the farmers who are supplying you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we deal with all the local farmers and we deal with them on a regular basis across all of our businesses. And so we have a close-knit relationship with them, and that sort of two-way street of communication helps us to produce some pretty good quality products.
Now, you just haven't sort of turned up out of the blue from nowhere. Your family have been farming in the Fleurieu Peninsula since 1857. That's a long tradition.
Yeah, it is a long tradition. Yeah, my great-great-grandfather, he settled the land where we live on right now, and we're still there today.
COVID means that your business has changed slightly, and it means that more people can enjoy your beautiful meat.
We'd thought about doing home delivery, and COVID sort of made us take the leap of faith and try it, and honestly, it's been better than I ever thought it would be. And we cover all of metropolitan Adelaide, we cover all the Fleurieu Peninsula.
You have actually got a special offer for our listeners.
Yeah, that's right. So anyone that's been listening today, when they're online and they make an order, just put in the promo code FIVEaa, they'll get a free kilo of chicken wings delivered with their order.
Wow. And I've had your chicken wings and they are pretty special. You do some really good marinades on them.
Yep, we do.
Good on you. That's Scott Endersby from Meat at the Mount.
Now, $200 goes a long, long way at Meat at the Mount. We've got a $200 Meat at the Mount gift voucher to give away just to the first caller through. 82230055. Visit meatatthemount.com.au for fresh country meat delivered to your door. All right, it is that time of the morning where we hand it over to John Blake. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
The Crows have won the most improbable of victories. Unbelievable! Oh my God! Will! 27 points down, didn't score the first quarter, 30 points down at half-time, 15-3.
Right, carefully. What's the problem here, nurse?
Burst foofer valve, Doctor.
Oh, really? What happened?
The Adelaide Football Club, Doctor.
No, what about them?
They had a marvellous win, coming from behind to win by 5 points.
Right, you better have a replacement foofer valve on standby, nurse.
Yes, Doctor, it's the worst case of foofer valve I've seen for a long time.
Yeah, what's his name?
It's Stephen Rowe, Doctor.
Stephen? Stephen, can you hear me?
Oh, it's the best win I can remember in my life!
Oh, that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it, Stephen?
It's the best win of any level, of any game, ever, at any oval, ever!
Come on, calm down, Stephen. You've already blown your foofer valve. And if you keep that up, you might rupture your clacker, so be careful.
Oh, I want to kiss Riley Philthorpe on the clacker!
We need to calm him down, nurse.
Yes, Doctor.
Give him 10 cc's of Mark Bickley logic and put him on a Will Goodings common sense drip.
Yes, Doctor.
And nurse.
Yes, Doctor.
Have another foofer valve standing by for next week.
Yes, Doctor.
Well, I think there was a few that went on the night.
I was going to say, you should have been in there in the ED with him.
I think I was already lost.
I'm going to say,
I had
seriously,
a sheet over my head.
I listened to a bit of the TV coverage. In that last quarter, it was like the most exciting thing was about to happen. Those blokes sounded like they were just watching paint dry. And it's because they're all Victorians.
It's easy when you can just be totally biased.
Oh, yeah, but that's what you want. I mean, that's why you want to hear Treaders when you're a Port fan.
Tim Ginnivan.
Or Timmy G.
Yep.
Timmy G having one of his surly fits when they've lost. Where he gets so upset that he almost refuses to talk for the next half an hour, which is terrific on live radio. But you want people who actually got a dog in the fight doing it.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a
I've
lot to
got
say for
mates
local
now-
radio.
I've got mates in Canberra who don't even really follow AFL who have said to me, like particularly because of Rowie, they've become obsessed with listening to the radio. So
Yeah.
they listen to games on the app just for fun. And the great thing is, the Crows are the most like psychotic team in the AFL right now. Like you think about this year, so they beat Melbourne, they beat Geelong.
Lost to Hawthorn.
They're like, 80 points in front against Hawthorn and managed to lose by a kick.
Yeah.
And then the weekend, probably the worst half of football in the history of the entire club, and they win.
Somehow won.
Like, you just rock up.
Yeah.
What's going to happen
The
today?
joys of
Could be
following a young
anything.
team. Yeah.
Could be anything.
Exactly right.
But no, that calling. People were texting it to me. It was flying around all weekend with mates. It's terrific.
All right, we got our weekend real estate wrap coming up in just a moment.
Get in here. It's Sheeds. We don't have the time to mess around. We can't afford any more downtime, and we need a result. It's about trust, and for hydraulic hose repairs, Ryco 24/7 are the ones. They'll get to you wherever you are. Their vans are on the road with fully qualified repairers, and they are supported by that other great South Australian team, BL Shipway, who I've known for over 30 years. Call Ryco 24/7 on 133247 or visit ryco247.com.au.
Wrap up warm, pack up the car and hit the road. It's time to beat the winter blues and book your next getaway. With the help of SA Weekend Escapes, make the most of this South Australian winter. Discover new destinations, rediscover old, find things to do, places to see and uncover our latest hotel offers. This winter, stay at one of 10 participating SA hotels and receive a complimentary bottle of red to warm up your trip. Find out more at saweekendescapes.com.au. Holiday here this year.
Can I have a flat white to take away, thanks?
Sure, that'll be $10.
Sorry, but the cafe down the road has the same coffee beans and the same milk for only $4.
Yeah, well, ours is $10, Dal.
Ah, I see.
Should have gone to Specsavers. Because whether you're buying coffee or hearing aids, you shouldn't have to pay top dollar for top-of-the-range features. Book a free 15-minute hearing check today at specsavers.com.au/hearing. Conditions apply.
Be part of a retirement community designed around your well-being. At Lendlease Retirement Villages, you'll feel connected, safe and secure, so you can focus on what makes you happy. Search Lendlease Retirement South Australia.
This could be more than just another ad. It could be the moment you decide to upgrade your drive. The Mazda Moment End of Financial Year sale is on now. It's your moment to drive home an exceptional vehicle at an outstanding price. Like Mazda CX-3 Neo Sport from $24,990 drive away. Or great value for ABN holders and primary producers across the Mazda BT50 Ute range. The Mazda Moment End of Financial Year sale. Visit your Mazda dealer today.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Minute to wait. Time for our weekend real estate wrap with Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop. Morning to you, Susanna.
Good morning, guys.
How was the weekend?
We had another big weekend. Everyone had an extra day off to look at property, which is great news. 2 auctions. We had a fantastic one in Glenunga, a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom renovated bungalow on around 780 square metres. Went under the hammer and sold for $1.362 million.
Jeez.
And we saw properties selling prior to auction this week in Glenside and Myrtle Bank. So they're showing that there's really strong interest in those suburbs as well.
Are you finding that a lot of places are selling without going to auction at the moment, Susanna, given the level of demand?
We are. Every week there's at least 2 to 3, if not more, selling before they get to the day. I mean, you're just seeing so much interest. So it's quite a big call to sort of pull up stumps and not go through with the auction. It must mean that there's really, really strong interest because the vendor will usually track all the way through to auction day. So it really does mean that buyers are putting their best foot forward and really trying to put something in that would stop what should take place, which is the auction in a few weeks' time. So it is really interesting to see with a market like what we're finding is that buyers are just saying, you know what, if I can do anything, then to try and prevent auction day, because you get only 2 people on the day who really want the home and the prices are just going $100,000, $200,000 more than what people are expecting.
And what about things like Adelaide getting voted the most livable city in Australia? Do you reckon that becomes a factor in people's thinking about buying properties, maybe more so for investors interstate?
Yeah, I mean, how great was that? It's something that we've all known for a long, long time. It was so great to see Adelaide recognised on the world stage. But look, absolutely, we've seen so far this year, the number of Victorian and New South Wales residents buying property in South Australia has more than tripled so far this year. So we're seeing huge interest from interstate buyers and also overseas. We're seeing a lot of people moving back. We saw I think Adelaide recorded the first net migration gain in almost 30 years. So absolutely that sort of what had been a big trend of people moving out of the state is absolutely being reversed, and people are moving back and they're looking for homes to rent and to buy. So things like what came out last week, the great announcement, is only going to further have positive impacts on both house prices and rents here in Adelaide. It's great news.
Certainly is. Good stuff, Susanna. Susanna Toop from Toop and Toop Real Estate. Always love catching up.
Thanks, guys.
5AA News on the way, then breaking it on.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers increasing 18 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience, with 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
A Tamil family has been released from detention but will not be allowed to return to their home in Queensland. The Sri Lankan couple and their 2 Australian-born daughters will stay in Perth, where the youngest child is receiving medical treatment. The federal government says the decision does not provide a pathway to a permanent visa. The family will be allowed to stay in the community while they continue to pursue legal action through the court system. Nationals MP Barnaby Joyce isn't concerned about the case setting a precedent.
These kids were born in Australia. Now, the reason ministers have discretion, ministerial discretion, is to deal with issues that from time to time come up precisely like this.
2 people have been treated for smoke inhalation following a house fire at FIVEaa. It sparked in a bedroom at the Bramble Court home around 1 this morning. The damage bill has topped $140,000. A 16 and 17-year-old have been arrested over the theft of a BMW from a driveway at Royston Park. The driver was alerted late last night via his phone that the car had been taken. The teenage pair were picked up at Ridleyton and are facing a string of charges. Talks are underway in London as Australia and the UK try to finalise a free trade deal. Nine's Carrie-Anne Greenbank reports.
We're here outside number 10 Downing Street, where Scott Morrison has been in a working dinner with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. It's understood the 2 leaders have been trying to nut out the final details of this free trade deal. But there are still some sticking points. One is to do with agriculture. British beef farmers concerned an influx of Aussie beef will ruin their market. Scott Morrison has said he would take as long as needed to secure a deal. If an agreement is to be reached in whatever form it gets to, it would likely be announced this afternoon, Australia time.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has announced a 4-week delay in lifting COVID lockdown restrictions. The decision has been made amid an increase in cases of the Delta variant, which now makes up more than 90% of the UK's infections. Mr Johnson says there shouldn't be another delay.
As things stand, and on the evidence that I can see right now, I'm confident that we will not need more than 4 weeks, and we won't need to go beyond July the 19th.
World leaders have met in Brussels for the 31st NATO summit, hoping for a new chapter in transatlantic relations. Nine's Alison Petrowski reports.
US President Joe Biden has been eager to show America's commitment to NATO after previous President Donald Trump called the alliance obsolete and outdated.
NATO is critically important for US interest in and of itself.
The leaders of the 30-member alliance issued a communique branding China a security risk, also highlighting the threats presented by Russia, expressing concern about their military build-up in the Ukraine, as well as its cyber attacks undermining Western states.
Our relationship with Russia is at its lowest point since the Cold War.
President Biden will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Geneva later this week.
In the US, authorities are battling an out-of-control fire at a chemical plant in Rockton, Illinois. All employees managed to evacuate safely. Residents within a 2-kilometre radius of the fire have been ordered to evacuate their homes. And the Australian film industry is mourning the death of producer David Lightfoot at the age of 61. His filmography includes Wolf Creek, Babe and Bad Boy Bubby. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And some good news for the Crows, Tom Wren.
Yeah, absolutely. Adelaide's Riley Thilthorpe has been named the round 13 nominee for the AFL Rising Star Award. The 18-year-old booting 3 goals in the 6-point win over the Saints. Meantime, Harry Mackay looks to be staying at Carlton. The AFL website reporting the key forward has sorted out a contract extension on a 2-year deal that will take him to restricted free agency in 2023. Well, Ariane Titmus has swum the second fastest women's 200-metre freestyle ever at the Olympic trials here in Adelaide last night. Her swim just shy off the world record.
McKeon's there for second. Lateki will just get it, will she? Maybe by a whisker.
That is unbelievable.
That is flying. That's a 1.2 second personal best time.
Kaylee McKeon also starred, taking out the 200-metre individual medley. A day after setting the world record in the 100-metre backstroke, the 19-year-old swam the fastest time in the world since August 2019 in that race. On the men's side, Jack McLaughlin will race in the 400-metre and 800-metre freestyle in Tokyo, while Mac Horton missed out on qualifying for an individual event. Well, the Aussies are faring well in the Wimbledon warm-up tournaments. John Millman through to the second round at Queen's, and Jordan Thompson had a straight sets win in Halle in Germany. Australian Test captain Tim Payne says the playing group is 100% behind coach Justin Langer. And in some soccer, Spain and Sweden have played out a scoreless draw at the Euros this morning, while the Czech Republic had a 2-0 win against Scotland. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles. Now at Dave Potter.
At Dry Creek, look out for a smash on the north-south motorway city-bound, Carvey middle barrier, and the right-hand lane is closed there. At Snow Globe Derby Park, we're seeing quite heavy delays there. Seaton Burst Water Main, Trimmer Parade near Pioneer Street, speeds reduced to 40 k's, and Coromandel Valley, another Burst Water Main, that's on Main Road near the Walk. The freeway speeds reduced down to 60 k's both directions between the Tollgate and Measdays Bridge. Beat the cold with a home heater from Barbecues Galore. With the best range of fireplaces starting from just $799. Hurry in today to a Barbecues Galore store near you. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers increasing 18 today. Showers tomorrow down to 14. Thursday more showers and 15. Right now it's 14 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Keep on running. Bob Jane T-Marts will look after you with their end of financial year monster deals. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8:09, breaking at 8 coming up in just a moment. There are speed restrictions currently in place on the Northern Connector for southbound traffic south of Bolivar due to a collision there. Emergency services are on the scene. We're being told to expect delays. Lucy's had a look and it looks like there are significant delays now. If you're in the area, you've seen what the hold-up is, or you've just got a sense of what kind of delays are in place there, we'd love to hear from you. 8223 0000. Be our eyes and ears on this one because it sounds pretty bad. You can text us as well on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line 0448 08 1395. The other thing we've got to announce is the very happy news that Travis from Valley View has won the meat voucher thanks to Meat at the Mount. $200 worth of prime quality meat. We'll have you sorted for a while.
That will keep you going almost till Christmas.
$200 is good value amount. Let's get to some texts. Telstra Store Mount Barker text line.
Quite a few that Will won't read out because he's too modest. You're right, boys. The 5AA Sports commentary, be it for a Port game or a Crows game, is the best in the nation. It adds so much excitement to the game. Just a pity the radio doesn't sync with the TV. It's true. It never quite does. But
you can do it if you're watching on, say, something like Fox, and you can push pause on the TV. You can line them up. People text us often that they do that. So they'll pause it, and then, you know, when the first bit happens that you can sync up, you can make it happen. But yeah, it's tough if you're watching on free-to-air.
Another one here from Adrian. I too hated the TV. Vic biased commentators, bland and boring call of the Crows win, about as exciting as a ruptured spleen. There's an evocative image. And another one here about the UK lockdown from Scott and Modbury. Morning, boys. The thing that would sell the best in the UK right now would be the concept of Destination Australia. No virus to speak of, no lockdowns would be enough. Add in our weather and lifestyle, plus none of the culture war that is happening over there. Australia sells itself.
I know lots of people that are of English origin that wanted to move to Australia and went through the process of making it happen. I'm fascinated to see what the flow of people would be if, as is being reported, the citizenship requirements change and it becomes more like our relationship with New Zealand in terms of, because you'd imagine coming out of this period there might be a lot of English people that go, you know what, it's warmer, they speak the same language, I can do the same job, it was safer when there was a pandemic, it might be time to move.
Yeah.
There might be a bit of that goes on. All right, it's 11 after 8 and it's time for Breaking at 8.
Well, in news literally just to hand, and I mean literally because Phil Curry just texted me, Boris Johnson and Scott Morrison have just agreed to an in-principle free trade agreement.
Excellent.
How about that?
Fantastic news.
More details to follow, but that is a very big story that's going to dominate the headlines over the next 24 hours. Something that's not dominating the headlines yet, but will be locally within the next 10 months, is the South Australian election. And in the last couple of hours, the first in a series of what are clearly election ads, and that's not to suggest anything sinister because they're paid for by the Liberal Party, they've got the Liberal Party logo on them, but Stephen Marshall is out and about, making himself very much front and centre in the story of South Australia's renewal. Let's have a bit of a listen.
This past year has been a tough one for all of us, but because of your toughness and your teamwork, we now enjoy a safer place to live, work and raise a family. We're getting on with our recovery plan and investing more than ever in education, upgrading 100 schools and building 4 new schools, giving our kids the skills that they need for exciting new careers here in SA. My team and I will continue to work hard to create a future for all South Australians.
Authorised by S. Meldrum for the Liberal Party of Australia, SA Division, Adelaide.
Why do they always talk so fast at the end?
That's because they want you to ignore that bit. I guess they've put up trying to make it in the length of time an ad goes for, and they want to have as little time as possible being spent talking about the disclaimer. Isn't there that comforting stock music backing track?
Oh, yeah.
Uplifting track number 9, which means the election is near.
Sounds a bit like Peter Gabriel's Salisbury Hill.
Sort of, yeah.
And the super optimistic tone of the Premier's voice, you can hear it whenever he comes on our show. He's like, "Hey guys," like he's always up. He's always up, and that gives you a bit of an insight. Well, one downer for him. I think this is worth a mention as our third little Breaking at 8. The opposition put out a statement last night, blowing a pretty significant hole in the Premier's recent claims about how the reason the emergency departments have been so busy and that we've had an issue with ramping is that there's been an unprecedented surge, unprecedented demand for treatment in the EDs. Well, the opposition has actually crunched the numbers and found that when you compare the figures to 2020, that is at the height of the pandemic, it actually does look like there has been a big surge. But the thing is, this time 12 months ago, people weren't leaving the house. Like, you weren't allowed to. And there were people who may have otherwise been more inclined to go to emergency departments, but didn't. Well, the opposition has actually gone back to 2019 and found that compared to that year, which was a normal year, there's actually been a significant reduction in emergency department presentations. It was actually 3% lower in April than it was a couple of years ago. So the idea that there's been a surge is actually not true. And yet correspondingly, there's been a huge increase in ramping. So it looks like the practice of ramping has increased as almost a policy. And this is something where to, prick Stephen Marshall's balloon in the jubilant tone of his advertising, the opposition think they're onto a winner championing the ramping question, which begs the question, all right, what are you guys going to do about it? But it's something that they're going to continue to prosecute over the coming 10 months.
Wouldn't be the first time an opposition's taken an issue to an election unable to answer the question, what are you going to do about it, though? It tends to be a winner.
It's a 4-year tradition.
Everyone's done it.
Yeah.
Hey, Rolly's on the road. He's called in with some detail on that crash at Bolivar. Rolly, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Artie. Basically, they've got one car on a flatbed at the moment, and they've got another car pulled over to the side, so it should be cleared up probably, my guess, in about 45 minutes. That's about a 3K lineup between where the Port Expressway exit and the Boulevard, in between that. So, yeah, so it's a long lineup.
Hey, Rolly, you could do this for a job, mate. That was about as thorough as a traffic report as we've ever received. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate you calling.
No problem, mate. You have a good day. See you, bud.
Good on
Cheers,
you, mate.
mate.
That was tremendous. So 3Ks to build up. Should be done in about 45 minutes because the cars have all been cleared.
Good work.
Magnificent work. Let's get the big picture traffic-wise right now, thanks to Dave Potter. Get great end-of-financial year deals on used and executive-driven vehicles right now.
Got a smash at Dry Creek this morning. It's on the north-south motorway, city-bound, Carvey Middle Barrier. Right-hand lane is closed. It's near Globe Derby Park. We're seeing quite heavy delays there. Burst water main at Seaton, Trimmer Parade near Pioneer Street. Speeds down to 40. Coromandel Valley, another burst water main there. That's on Main Road near the Walk. And we've got speeds reduced this morning on the freeway, both directions between the toll gates and Measdays Bridge. Amazon Prime Day is June 21st and 22nd. Start your 30-day free trial and enjoy 2 days of epic Prime Day deals. Amazon Prime Day, 21st and 22nd of June, $6.99 per month after 30 days. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Like our fond memories of Magic Mountain, or the sights and smells of the Royal Adelaide Show, from the rugged beauty of KI to the natural wonders of the limestone coast, things that make our fine state. It's who we are. Local, iconic, proud. There is SASAA. Live, local, and always informing Adelaide. 5AA.
This used to be in every car. A little lever on the dash. Left for cold air, right for hot air. But no matter how many times Jenny slides it from left to right, the car's just as cold. And no matter how many nights her and her mum sleep in this car, it's just as uncomfortable. For every person you see sleeping on the streets, there are 13 more you don't see. So donate to the Red Shield Appeal today at salvationarmy.org.au to help the Salvos leave no one in need.
Home renovations can be akin to climbing Everest. Every step of the way can be torturous to reach your ultimate goal. Well, the same could be said for home renovations, but not if you go with Biurban Bathrooms and Kitchens. The team at Biurban have always believed the journey is just as important as the destination. So start your journey with Biurban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts. Visit biurban.com.au.
The countdown is on. You have less than 3 days until the early bird deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Don't miss your chance to win a Porsche Taycan. Plus, your ticket stays in the draw to win the ultimate beachside lifestyle in the grand prize home on the Esplanade at South Brighton and $1 million cash. Imagine watching sunsets from your balcony mortgage-free. Join the fight for cures, better treatments and improved care by purchasing your tickets now at homelottery.com.au. Licence M13989.
Don't just get a forklift. Don't miss the Toyota Forklift Stacks and Jacks sale. Get hot deals across a range of new Toyota walkie stackers and electric pallet jacks. Plus receive a free Caltex Star Cash card up to the value of $500. The Toyota Forklift Stacks and Jacks sale. On now. Call 1-800-425-438 or toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota Forklift. T's and C's apply. Private buyers only. Offer ends August 31.
Do you think a concert pianist needs a builder's license? No. Does a chartered accountant need one? Nah. Okay, then what about a house inspector? This will surprise you. Right now, there are no regulations in the industry that say you must be a builder to become a house inspector. Mike Pearl from House Inspect Australia is a third-generation licensed builder, and his team is the most qualified team in Australia for house inspections. It's the biggest purchase decision of your life. Don't risk it. Go to houseinspectaustralia.com.au.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands.
Bob Jane T-Marts.
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
20 after 8, Fuel Watch coming up in just a moment. What's a sign you're getting old? Or rather, what was the moment you knew you were getting old? 822 300 00. We're going to give away a Waller's gift card worth $100 before 8:30, so in the next 9 minutes and 18 seconds. Inspired by my good friend David's rather solemn revelation this morning that he's trading in the Hilux for the giant people mover, the car with which he's associated so many fun times and carefree and, you know, windows down, hair blowing in the wind, transporting lugs of soil and plants and whatnot around. Those days are over. And he realised it live at about 6:08 this morning. And it was quite a sombre and solemn moment. So we thought we'd give you a $100 Wallace gift card this morning if you could nominate. Do you remember the moment you got old?
Yeah. Or even just middle-aged.
Well, middle-aged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moment you went, I need to get a bit more sensible here.
Yeah. What was there a decision, a purchase, a change in behaviour? 8223 or text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line 0448 08 1395. Is anyone in the family excited about the change?
All the kids are.
Yeah. So they can all get in.
We'll have a bit more leg room and... I mean, it's going to be fun. Like, we're going to KI as well.
That'll be amazing.
And we went
You'll
there
feel
last
better
year. We
about
had
it
to take
then.
2 cars.
Yeah, that's no
So
good.
we're like driving in convoy, you know, okay, meet you at Seal Bay. Like, it's more fun. Like, you know, the full family experience.
Yep.
You actually want the entire family in the car. Well, you kind of do at the start of the trip.
David in Williston's called in with a wireless entry. Morning, David.
Good morning.
What's yours, Dave?
Yeah, when young started standing for me on the train. Wasn't a good time.
When the first time someone got up for you on the train. Thank you, David.
You're right there, old timer.
That's a great one. John in Woodcroft, good morning.
Hi, Dave. Well, I realised this getting older when I first got a birthday card from the kids that started with a 6.
Yeah,
right, that was a moment.
6.
Yeah,
6.
Big 6-0.
6-0.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
thank
say
you,
60's
John.
the new 40.
Yeah.
Sort of is in terms of life expectancy compared to what we were 100 years ago.
It's amazing what retirement means in 2020 compared to what it would have meant in 1920.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
You could expect a bit more time to yourself, can't you?
A lot of people didn't make it to 65.
Absolutely.
When they brought in the pension.
Yeah. David, good morning.
At the moment I realised I'm now older than my parents were when I was born.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny, isn't it? I can clearly remember being at my dad's 40th.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it just feels like that was yesterday. It's
Yeah.
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember being at kindy and saying to one of my mates, we'll be friends until we're 40, because I thought that was as old as you got. That was Dad's age.
I mainly remember the 40th because a stripogram arrived.
Okay, enough of that. Rob, good morning.
Didn't
morning,
actually do the
guys.
full strip. I should have that in case Mum's listening. She's going to kill me. Sorry, mate. Rob.
Yeah, good morning. Listen, the moment I realised I was getting older is when I sold my motorbike in England and I bought a 3-wheeler.
Right, that's sort of what David's going through now.
So I could move the family around.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Thank you,
Surrender.
Rob. Tasha and Clemsy, good morning.
Oh, hello. How are you today?
We're
Good, thanks, Tasha.
I'm actually a mother of Alec who loves Brussels sprouts.
Oh, okay, yeah. He rang in the other day.
Excellent.
Yes, he did. Yes. So I realized that I'm getting older when we went to get juice for him, and the gentleman said, "Oh, you need size 9," and I'm like, "No, that's not possible. He can't have size 9." And he's like, "He needs size 9." "Oh, no, you must be wrong. He must be size 7." And I'm like, "Oh my God, my little boy actually is 11 soon.
Oh, no.
Yes, he needs size 9.
That is good.
That's fantastic, Tasha. What an excellent entry.
A mate of mine just texted saying he bought an Apple Watch to monitor his health.
Oh, that's a really confronting moment, that is.
You better just check the old pulse rate
You're
and blood
so
pressure.
concerned about where you're at that you just need at any time to know what your heart rate is.
Need your own personal ECG monitor.
I
with
can
you.
feel myself getting a little excited. Let's just have a look. No, we're in the safe zone.
You needed one of them about 7 o'clock Saturday night, mate.
I'm serious. I got a migraine after 2 minutes later. My head was hurting. Joe in Modbury North, good morning.
G'day, boys. You know you're getting old when you got to urinate 6 times a day.
Thank you for that, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. That'll do it. Bob in Wallaroo, good morning.
G'day, fellas.
What's yours, Bob?
You know you're getting old when you listen to the Gardener Show on 5AA instead of listening to Triple M.
Well, Bob, whatever the reason may be, Michael Keelan and the rest of us are glad to have you. Maria in Seaton, good morning.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Maria.
My
before that even, my 5-year-old granddaughter and my 4-year-old granddaughter were drawing pictures at my house, and they did a very nice picture of a playground, and they put the swings and the grass and everything, and then they put a little blue seat. She goes, and the 5-year-old turned around and said, bless her sock, she goes, no, that's for you, she goes, because you are old.
Oh, Maria, that's rough. That's a great story, though. Thank you. Mark in Gawler, good morning.
Morning, fellas. I think the moment I realised I was hitting middle ages when I tuned the radio from FM to AM.
Yeah.
I'm a lot wiser for it since, though.
Get with the strength, Mark. AM's the future of radio.
Love your show, fellas.
Good on you, Mark.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. We do what we can for all the demos. Stewie, good morning.
Good morning. I've got several, actually. When I went and sold a family car and bought myself a breakout Harley Davidson, I started to realise it's a midlife crisis beginning. And then I had a shave one day, and the next thing I found out was when it grew back, it went from like a ginger to white around my neck.
Yeah.
I have not had my hair cut since because I'm too afraid.
Good one, Stewie. And lastly, Sandy in Somerton, good morning.
Good morning. I found out I was older than what I am. On the 5th of June, I turned 78, and I got a card from 2 Liberal candidates saying, happy birthday, Sandy, for your 80th birthday.
Well, I wouldn't be voting for them. That is a shocking over.
Boy.
You can't come back from that as a political candidate.
Oh, that's terrible. Sandy, thank you. So they need to update their data. Now, who gets the $100 Woolworths gift card?
Oh, it's impossible to split them. Just for the sheer simplicity of it. I like David and Williston. The first time someone said, would you like a seat, sir, on the train?
Oh, that was good. Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah,
that would be a...
Quite a few on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line too. When you wake up sorer than when you went to bed.
Yep.
And this one here, when I realised I enjoyed sleeping with a 70-year-old, i.e. my husband of 48 years.
5AA News is on the way behind closed doors thereafter. We'll just have a quick look at the fuel situation thanks to Dave Potter. Good news, back down into the $20s right across Adelaide, $1.27 through the eastern suburbs in Hectorville and Kensington, $1.24 on North East Road at Collinswood, $1.25 at the Liberty Marion on Marion Road, and $1.24 at the Coles Express at the Hallett Cove Shopping Centre. Cheapest that we found it, $1.17 at the OTR in Kent Town, opposite the Maid Hotel on the corner of North Terrace and Fullerton Road.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Who said video games are only for teenagers? Harvey Norman understands gaming PCs, and they'll make sure your new beast has all the grunt to process those amazing visuals. The Acer Nitro 5 15-inch laptop comes with an Intel i5 processor, 8GB of RAM and a 512GB solid-state drive. But the biggest asset is the RTX 3060 graphics card from NVIDIA, giving you some of the best graphics performance on the market. Get the gaming laptop your kids will envy. The Acer Nitro 5 is a monster, but with a tiny price, just $1,298. Save $500. Also, as a bonus, receive $150 of Logitech G, Astro or Blue mic accessories, now available at Harvey Norman.
Check out these great offers at 5AA.com.au. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Toop and Toop Property Management, they saved their landlords over $2,300 last month alone through their app, Toop Home.
So, Will, tell me, how does an app save you money?
I thought you'd never ask, David. Toop Home has an inbuilt system called Toop Fix. It triages property maintenance issues, helps the tenant solve the problem, meaning that tradies might not even need to be called out.
Does it triage them or does it triage them?
Oh, is it triage, is it? I thought it was triage.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter because Toop Fix does it all.
It's got to be a French word, doesn't it?
You say triage, I say triage. It's amazing technology, and it's just another reason why Toop and Toop are the people for property management in Adelaide.
Find out what Toop and Toop's property management team can do for you. Get started by calling 8362 8888 or visiting toop.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers increasing 18 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra, your one-stop shop. Physio, Pilates, podiatry, massage, dietetics. For appointments, visit physioextra.com.
Another pre-budget announcement today from the Marshall government. More electronic bracelets are coming online in SA to monitor offenders. Minister for Correctional Services Vincent Tarzia says they play a vital role in the rehabilitation of offenders.
The sophisticated offender tracking program will be expanded, so 100 electronic monitoring bracelets will be funded in the state budget with $4 million for the crucial program.
The budget will be handed down next Tuesday. The cause of an early morning house fire at Paraka is under investigation. The alarm was raised on Bramble Court just after 1 a.m. Crystal Mitchell from the MFS says it started in a bedroom.
The 2 occupants were transported to hospital by SA ambulance for treatment of smoke inhalation. Damage is estimated at $140,000 and the cause is undetermined.
A Tamil family has been released from detention but will not be allowed to return to their home in Queensland. The Sri Lankan couple and their 2 Australian-born daughters will stay in Perth, where the youngest child is receiving medical treatment. The federal government says the decision does not provide a pathway to a permanent visa. The family will be allowed to stay in the community while they continue to pursue legal action through the court system. Australia and the UK are expected to sign an in-principle agreement toward a free trade deal as early as today. Prime Minister Scott Morrison and his British counterpart have been working through stumbling blocks around farm workers and agriculture imports. There'll be a delay in lifting the last of the coronavirus restrictions in England. Prime Minister Boris Johnson says removing all legal limits on social contact will be pushed back a month to July 19 amid concerns over the new Delta variant. The BBC's Laura Kutzberg reports.
The Prime Minister tried to signal very strongly that by the time we get to mid-July, that should, in his view, be it. He used the phrase a terminus date. I think that was also a strong message to those in his party who worry about extending the limits for another little while. But I think it was also clear, listening to the Prime Minister and the top medics, that they just didn't really feel that they had any choice here. They said that this decision would prevent thousands of deaths with the way that the Delta variant has been spreading.
A man has been charged with terror offences, accused of running over and killing 4 members of a Muslim family in Canada. Police say the 20-year-old intentionally targeted the family because of their faith, running them over in a premeditated attack in Ontario. He also faces 4 first-degree murder charges and 1 attempted murder charge. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $500 on selected ASCO cooking appliances. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide defender Dave McKay is going to have to wait until Thursday night before learning his fate for a collision which left St Kilda's Hunter Clark with a broken jaw. McKay has been referred directly to the tribunal. Well, Collingwood coach Nathan Buckley has ended his career with an upset 17-point win over Melbourne. Past defender Chris Mayne says Buckley's had a significant impact on his career.
I told him, there'll definitely be a special place in my heart for Bucks. I've been a part of his journey and he's been a part of mine. I can always thank him for showing faith in me. We had some really good years. We nearly won a flag together. We played finals footy together.
The Euros have only just started, but the goal of the tournament may have already been scored, and it came from the Czech Republic in their 2-0 win against Scotland, coming from halfway.
Now the break might be on for Patrick Schick, and look what he's trying to do. Schick, wow. Can you believe what we've just seen? Out of this world!
Yeah, brilliant goal. 2 other games with Slovakia 2-1 winners against Poland, while Spain and Switzerland make that Sweden played out a 0-0 draw. The Perth Wildcats are through to the NBL Grand Final after an 8-point win against Illawarra in their deciding Game 3 in Perth. They'll take on the winner of Melbourne United and South East Melbourne Phoenix. And Ariane Titmus has smashed her old Australian record by more than a second in the 200-metre freestyle at the Olympic swimming trials here in Adelaide. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles. Now at Dave Potter.
Look out for a smash at Dry Creek. It's on the north-south motorway. City-bound, a car has hit a middle barrier. They're being cleared at the moment. It's near Globe Derby Park. We're seeing quite heavy delays inbound, traffic queuing back for a couple of Ks. Got a burst water made at Seaton Trimmer Parade near Pioneer Street. Speeds reduced down to 40 Ks. Another burst water made at Coromandel Valley. That's on Main Road near the Walk. And on the freeway this morning, speeds reduced down to 60 Ks both directions. directions, Tollgate to Measdays Bridge. Bob Jane T-Mart's end of financial year monster deals. Buy 3, get 1 free and instant cashbacks on top tyre brands, plus up to 20% off select wheels. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
Showers increasing today with a top of 18. Showers tomorrow 14, Thursday showers and 15. Right now it's 14 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
As a small to medium business owner, you need a vehicle fleet that is fit for purpose. The new Nissan Navara is the ultimate workhorse, built tough to handle the harshest conditions. Packed with the latest intelligent safety and driving assistance tech, the new Nissan Navara is the ideal addition to your fleet. Let your local Nissan fleet dealer tailor a vehicle solution that's right for you and your business needs. Visit your local Nissan dealer or search Nissan Fleet today.
We can fix your oven, taps, space heaters, your irrigation system, roof leaks, rusting gutters and downpipes. We can even retile your bathroom. Ken Hall Plumbers, your local plumbers since 1983. Give Ken a call, 8364 5855.
When people walk through the doors at Powell's, the first thing they say is wow. Not only because of the size and the selection, but also because of the team. Sam and Jamie have tasted every drop. They and their team can recommend a whiskey that's just as good as that hard-to-find Japanese one, if they don't have it, that is. Or a beautiful red that's reminiscent of that outstanding cellar door you once travelled so far to visit. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Powell's, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 9. Triage. I think the people have voted
Yes.
for.
Sadly, not for the first time. Will is right. I am wrong. Carol texted in relation to us going off script during the excellent live read for our great friends at Toop and Toop. Carol says, hello both. I like that. Hello both. Will is correct. Sorry, David, you mispronounce so many words just saying.
I mean, that was the end's funny. I don't necessarily agree with all of it.
No.
The problem is you talk for long enough over a 3-hour period on a range of subjects, and the
not
holes
good.
in your capacity to say things get exposed pretty.
How many
pretty quickly.
words do we say a year, do you think?
A lot. Some just repeatedly.
Yeah, yeah.
Meat.
Yes, that's right.
Behind closed doors is coming up in just a moment.
Now, earlier this year, both on our show and then again for the newspaper, I had the honour of talking to our next guest, Eileen Cullerton, whose family suffered so much and continue to through the loss of Eileen's sister, Anne-Marie Cullerton. This story is just infuriating. It involves a beast of a bloke called Jonathan Bakewell. He received a life sentence with no parole, back in the good old days when you could get life sentences with no parole, after raping and murdering Anne-Marie in Darwin in 1988. We won't dwell on the circumstances of her death, but suffice to say that they're just beyond horrible. Random attack. But his sentence was reduced to 20 years after the laws were changed, prohibiting these full life sentences with no parole. So he was released on parole in 2016. Since then, he's breached parole 4 times for using cannabis, but in its wisdom, the parole board has decided that Bakewell will be released into the community for the 5th time on Tuesday, 15th of June, from the Mount Gambier prison. We have Eileen on the line now. Eileen, great to be talking to you again, although under pretty infuriating circumstances.
Thank you for having me.
So, walk us through this parole board decision, because the thing I find baffling was that, so he did test positive for cannabis while in custody.
That's right.
Correction said, well, that's because he was smoking cannabis, but his lawyer argued that he tested positive because it was passive smoking and that there was a prisoner next to him who was smoking dope.
In his cell.
In his cell?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How does that even work? I mean, I would have thought, setting aside the fact that drugs are meant to be illegal in prison.
Illegal in prison.
Yeah. So So the defence lawyer or the person representing him at the parole board said, no, it was passive smoking.
That's right. It absolutely begs belief. I thought I'd heard it all until this latest case. And it's outrageous because, as we know, Bakewell has breached parole 4 times for taking cannabis. And there he is. I mean, to be fair, he was in for a potential breach for another drug, which turned out to be not the case. But there he is sitting in his cell, and it's just outrageous that he would claim that it's a case of passive smoking and whatever happened to personal responsibility.
Yeah.
He was already in there for a potential drug breach. You'd think he would have put up his hand and said, "Oh, can I move cell?"
Yeah.
And the fact that, I mean, when it came to the passive smoking claim, there were 2 experts put forward. So Department of Corrections put an expert forward that said, no, it's not possible. Bakewell's defence put an expert forward that said, yes, it is. And who do they give the benefit of the doubt to? A lying rapist murderer who is a known con man. The parole board have been conned. They've made themselves a joke and a laughing stock for offenders. But I tell you what, the only ones not laughing is Anne-Marie's family. We're absolutely horrified. We're horrified that he's being released today. And women in South Australia are not going to be safe sleeping in their beds tonight.
Well, I wanted to ask you that
That's
question,
the
Eileen, because I
reality.
know that you spoke at the Women's March for Justice earlier this year. And setting aside all of the parole board decisions and toing and froing about his cannabis use, there's a much broader issue here about female safety and the treatment of women, because your sister was randomly attacked. She was treated in the most animalistic way by this bloke. So if as a society we're going to be serious about women's safety and women's dignity and women's freedom to move, and she's just at home in her apartment when it all happened, surely we should draw a line in the sand with blokes like this and say, sorry mate, you're out of circulation for the rest of your life.
Exactly. And it was the case at one stage until the laws were changed, and I'm calling for law reform for life sentencing without parole for rapist murderers, because women have a right to be safe in the community. Women like my sister had a right to be safe sleeping in her bed at night with a locked door that he broke down. Women have right to be safe, and we need life sentencing because these rapist murderers keep on offending. And Dudley Davey, who raped and murdered Outback nurse Gail Woodford, now the coroner said that he didn't believe that rehabilitation would have made, any sex offenders programs would have made any difference to Dudley Davey because his behaviour was entrenched. And we know that with violent sexual offenders, they keep going.
Yeah, have you ever had the opportunity, Eileen, to put that case to an MP or lawmaker? And if you have, what have they said when you've made it? Because I reckon 90% of people listening would suggest it's better than a really good idea.
Well, I have written to, I have a petition to all the Attorney Generals, and I've also written to shadow Attorney Generals as well. And so I'm in the stage, as you know, of speaking with the shadow Attorney General, Kyan Ma, here in South Australia, also in Tasmania. And so this is something that I'm in the process of organising meetings.
Well, interested to hearing the outcome of those, because I think, as I say, I think there'll be a lot of sympathy for that position.
The other thing too, Eileen, just to wrap it up, is
Yeah.
How did this bloke? He only became South Australia's problem because out of their unyielding generosity, the courts decided that he should be moved from the NT to South Australia so he could be closer to his ailing father. Is that correct?
That is correct, but let's not forget Bakewell was on parole in South. He's from South Australia. He was on parole in South Australia, brief parole, when he went up to the Northern Territory and raped and murdered Anne-Marie.
Which, again, to your point about Davey, who had committed about a dozen sexual crimes against women, including raping a nurse in Freegon, the town in the AP Wildlands where Gail Woodford died. I mean, how many chances do you have to give these mongrels?
Exactly. And he should have got, Dudley Davies should have got a life sentence with no parole.
Yeah, 100%. Good on you with your campaign, Eileen. Good on you for doing it. And any time you want to talk about it, just sing out, you know where we are.
Thank you so much.
Cheers,
Thank
Eileen.
you.
It is a disgrace, isn't it? And for all the wah about gendered language and, female representation, I'm certainly not saying none of that's important, but, where the rubber really hits the road is women just getting attacked because they're women by blokes who think they can get away with it.
I can't pass the manner in which society now comes down the hardest on the smallest slights and is softest on the worst examples of gendered violence or action.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't understand how we can be doing both those things at once.
Yeah.
If we're taking it more seriously, surely we take everything more seriously and we're harder on everything. But it just feels to me like, because it's easier. It's easier to slam someone who might have used, I don't know, a gendered pronoun or something or other. As opposed to saying, what we need to be doing is marching and demanding the Attorney General's lock up repeated violent offenders forever. Because we don't want them around anymore.
Because that's the ultimate manifestation of that mindset, isn't
Totally.
it?
Why do it? Why do the rest of the stuff?
No,
I don't.
Pathetic.
13 to 9. All right, let's check traffic. Thanks to Dave Potter. Get a great end of financial year deal on used and executive-driven vehicles right now. Dave Potter.
At Linton, got a tree down on Belair Road. That's landed across a truck, causing delays. It's between Windy Point Lookout and Springbank Road. Dry Creek got a smash there, which is causing delays. It's on the north-south motorway city-bound. Carvey Middle Barrier. Right-hand lane is closest near Globe Derby Park. Got a burst water main at Seaton. Trimmer Parade near Pioneer Street. Speeds down to 40 k's. And on the freeway, speeds reduced down to 60 k's, both directions. That's between the Tollgate and Measdays Bridge. More MG at Hamilton MG. Great drive-away prices and a $700 bonus on every new vehicle sold. 7 days only. Hamilton MG, Brighton and Morford Vale. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi ladies, Heather from Joyreen Fashions. This is the time of the season you've been waiting for. We're stock taking in a couple of weeks and need to clear some garments. There's plenty of bargains in casual daywear through to special occasion, some half price. And we even have a rack of quality garments for $29. Supplies are limited, so come in while you have the best choice of our stock take sale. Joyreen Fashions for mothers and daughters, 491 Portrush Road, Glenunga.
When you die, who gets what? Will your kids or relatives argue over your estate? Will your beneficiaries be protected? Will your estate be tax effective? Will your wishes be respected and carried out? Speak with Donlan Lawyers now for peace of mind. Donlan Lawyers for wills and estate planning. Visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com.
Winter's here and the cooler weather is perfect for spending time at home decluttering, and a bit of time to do that from mid-morning this morning.
Yes.
Huge amount of rain on the way in the next couple of days. But what do you do with all those pre-loved treasures that you don't want or need anymore, David?
The answer is simple, Will. In fact, you've got one just down the road from you.
Yes.
Grange Road.
Big one.
You take them to the Compassion Converters, your local Vinnie shop. That way, profits from the sale of your pre-loved items can provide a hand up to people doing it tough in our community.
Think homewares such as vases, dinner sets, glassware, cushions and throws, as well as clothing, shoes and accessories. So next time you're deciding whether to let something go, you can do so knowing that your donation to Vinnie's is making a real difference.
Now more than ever, Vinnie's need your help. Find where to donate at vinnies.org.au/shops.
Get more at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. Reckon you've run out of time to score a great end of financial year deal on a new Volkswagen? Nah. If you're quick, you can still check out the range of new Volkswagens available for delivery right now at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. And remember Mawson Lakes Volkswagen for servicing too, with next day servicing and free loan cars. Don't dilly-dally. Get a great deal on Volkswagen now. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Bob Jane T-Marts will look after you with their end of financial year monster deals. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 to 9 behind closed doors coming up in just a moment. Bob's called in with a comment on our previous chat. Morning to you, Bob.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good, mate. Good, thanks, Bob.
Look, just a comment. I mean, in America, if that happened, the person goes for life, and life means life, not 3 years or 3 months or an excuse. So I don't understand why a woman's life in Australia or South Australia is any less than someone in America.
Good point, Bob. Well said, Bob. It's a great point. 100%. Hey, Stephen Wade, the Health Minister, his spokesman texted in relation to our breaking at 8 about ramping and emergency presentations, saying, yet again, Labor is selectively quoting data. The data shows that in 2021 there have been more ED presentations for the first 4 months of this year compared to the same period in 2019. But in SA and a number of other states, the increased pressure in our EDs is being driven more by the increase in acuity among the presentations. What's that mean, acuity? Seriousness? Yeah, seriousness. Yeah. Okay, well, that's what they're saying.
I wish there was...
I'm the whole day talking about this.
I find the political bickering over the ramping issue to be beyond tedious now, and it strikes me that we've had governments of different hues successively that have been incapable of fixing the issue. And that is can only be one of two reasons. One, they don't generally see it as an issue. We've tried to explore that with the Health Minister before. This is just how we do healthcare now, but they won't accept that. So if they accept it is a problem, it's clearly a bigger systemic problem about, is it the way we're engaging in healthcare? Is it that we don't have other facilities to send people to anymore like we used to with regard to things like mental health? Is it because of drugs or alcohol? Just sick of there's this tit for tat that we're getting. Yeah. And the couple with that's not to let a government off the hook, because they're not making any progress in fixing the issue either.
No.
But the whole thing feels like it's bogged down in this political tedium now, when it shouldn't, from my view, it shouldn't be that hard to diagnose. If we accept it's a problem, which the government does, they won't accept it's just part of healthcare.
Yeah.
So if just saying just fix it might be oversimplistic, but how about just explain what the issue is?
Yeah.
I'd take that at this point. 7 to 9, we should go behind closed doors thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed
5AA Weekend Breakfast with Mike Keelan and Angie McBride.
Hi everybody, welcome along to Weekends with Michael Keelan and Angie McBride. Hello, Michael.
Right. Hello, Ange. How you going?
Pretty good, Michael. I was just reading about Operation Ironside.
Oh, yeah.
And all the people who were involved that were arrested, and the young 18-year-old and some of the people we've seen on TV. It's just I don't know whether it's what is it like? Is it money for some people? Because I don't. It's not for me. I don't. But for some people, it seems like it's a. And I don't think that's it's probably it wouldn't ever be. I don't understand how.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. It is tough to understand what drives some people.
Yeah, I think that might be what I was trying to say.
Right, and today we're going to be talking cheese, Angie, because I love a bit of cheese.
Well, Michael, while you're saying that,
yep,
I'll just do some mumbling under you, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Go right ahead with that, Angie. I love my cheese, as we know, and a bit later on this morning we'll be talking about cheese. We'll be making. We'll be talking about Parmigiano Reggiano, even though we're not allowed to call it that because it's a registered name. But a lot of great cheese makers in this country. We'll be talking about that. And Phil Hoffman will be talking to Phil about travelling around and where we can go and all that coming up on the show.
Thank you, Michael. What about what we need to do in our gardens at the moment, Michael?
Right, that is a great question, Angie. And people are always asking me,
what do I need to do to my roses?
Oh, yes.
Well, of course, the answer is you need to prune your roses in winter. Everybody knows that, so do that now. And, of course, if you do, you'll be pruning your roses a couple of weeks too early and consequently chopping off some pretty good buds which would have produced some beautiful flowers. And that's what happens when you have no idea when the seasons start.
I reckon once a month, Blakey makes some sort of seasons-related pointed gag, doesn't he?
He's committed.
Yeah, he's like a dog with a bone.
Exactly
Got
right.
that question.
It's 4 minutes to 9. Back in a moment.
I'm Lindy Morrison, former drummer of the Go-Betweens. And if you're like me and driving less these days, FIVEaa's comprehensive car insurance rewards you with a drive less, pay less discount on your premiums.
Call FIVEaa on 13 50 50 for a quote today. FIVEaa. Get set, go. FIVEaa is an authorised representative of AAI Limited, the product issuer. Most optional covers are not discounted. Limits, exclusions and conditions apply. Before buying this insurance, read the PDS. Contact us for a copy.
What makes Ray White the big name in business broking? Their people. Like SA Business Broker of the Year, Brett Buckley, and his team of business professionals. They can take a deep dive into your business, finding value and potential. They know what they're looking for because they know businesses. They're not real estate salespeople trying to sell businesses. They're business people selling businesses. If you want to know what your business is worth, touch base with Brett. Search Ray White Business Sales SA.
Now, what about this? A new pergola or veranda. It's only as good as the people have built it. So if a tradesperson's unhappy, has pressure to hurry up the job, or takes shortcuts, you might not get the pergola or veranda you were hoping for.
Yeah, there's one way to avoid that, though. A local family business called My Living Outdoors believe great, happy tradespeople build great pergolas and verandas, which is why they treat their tradespeople with the utmost respect. And it's probably why some of Adelaide's top tradies love working with My Living Outdoors.
Now, you should check out the My Living Outdoors website. I was actually looking at it before, during the ad break. They do the whole kit and caboodle. It's not just carports and verandas and pergolas and so on, but they do decking, roller blinds, and the testimonials speak for themselves. Happy customers are just as important as happy tradies, and My Living Outdoors have got plenty of those. Just log on to their website like I did and read the reviews.
What a nice and progressive way of thinking about doing business and saying we'll promote ourselves by talking about the fact that we treat our people better than everyone else. We treat our people so well that they'll do a good job for you.
Makes sense, though, doesn't
That's
it?
a really nice way of talking about why you've got a competitive edge in the business marketplace. From design and council approval right through to construction, the team at My Living Outdoors promise to give you the best experience throughout the whole process. Just visit mylivingoutdoors.com.au and take advantage of their end of financial year sale. Ends June 30.
Get up to 20% off a huge range of great wheel brands. Bob Jane T-Marts. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Our regional spotlight this morning was on Meat at the Mount. We gave away a $200 voucher. Tomorrow morning, we'll speak to Jane about somewhere in Narracourt. Going to Narracourt tomorrow, which means there'll be a giveaway. There always is, so stay listening. Our regional spotlight, thanks to the major sponsor, Automasters. Time for that regional road trip. Get there and back safely. Call 1300 Automasters.
Reluctant to end the show on a downer, but this is a very good text, a very pertinent text about Jonathan Bakewell being freed. It says, where is that bastard going to reside upon his release? Well, that's an excellent question, and we, the community, do not have the right to know that. Because
it's extraordinary,
this poor man's privacy comes first, apparently, and it's this nonsense charade we go through every single damn time. And, I mean, we saw it where at least with the release of one of these miscreants, the judge, female judge, told us about that guy who was going to go to Brompton. Not the street, though, just the suburb. And then I sort of actually think that might have, in a judicial sense, been a failed experiment because people were just freaked out in Brompton, as they would. But people should know. Like, you know, I got kids. I don't want a guy like that living in my street.
Yeah.
And even if you don't, I mean, you wouldn't want.
No.
We got a wife.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's just disgraceful. But it's the way the world works. You know, poor man, passive smoking, ended up with a positive cannabis test. Never mind. You know, randomly raped and murdered a woman. Let's let him out anyway. Let's let him move to Adelaide because his dad's not well. Surely when you do evil things, part of the byproduct of it is life gets complex. You miss out on stuff.
Yeah. Well,
but Apparently not.
Getting less and less complex for these sorts.
Yes, it is, sadly.
Leon
Anyway.
Biner is coming up after 9 o'clock. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Stay out of the rain if you can. It's coming down heavily for the next couple of days, but it starts at about mid-morning. Mel Usher on the way with 5AA News, and we'll see you tomorrow from 6.